It's patch notes time, baby. Elsweyr Patch Notes. They're finally here. It's happening. It's happening, guys. This is going to be a very serious review. Absolutely no jokes in here. 100% serious. Because this is the patch notes, guys. This isn't a joke. This is the real deal right here. If even the slightest thing is out of place, we've got to go to the forums
and scream our hearts out, because goddamn, we won't tolerate anything we don't like in the patch notes.
But the first thing we need to cover is the cat bakers. Oh my god! All right, but seriously, okay, patch notes time. Time for the actual patch notes. Usual blah 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 blah. I'm sure this is really funny and great, Gina, but let's be real, we're not here for that. New item sets. Here we go. Here we go. Crafty Elfique Light. Max. So here comes the Necro Elfique meta. The Necro Crafty Elfique meta. Here we go. For Magsorks. It's gonna be crazy. I mean, yeah. It's just Magicka Hulking Draugr. It's an overland set, so it's buyable. Nice. It's nice to just have straight max mag. I'm sure that'll find its way into plenty of builds. Probably a lot of builds where you don't have pets. Probably on a lot of builds where you don't have pets to use Necro. Darlock Bray. Reduce the radius can detect me while sneaking by 2 meters. Cool, that's always very useful. Everyone loves those sets. When crouching, you restore Magicka, stamina, and heal for 670 health every second. I mean, pair that with Night Radius next time the Dark Brotherhood and Thieves Guild event comes around. Am I right, guys? Other than that, basically useless. Okay, Call of the Undertaker. When you deal damage with light attack, you apply... Well, sorry, let's look at the other bonus first. Healing taken, max health, healing done, max health. Interesting set bonuses. It's a heavy set, but anyway. Apply minor lifesteal to your enemy for 8 seconds. Healing your allies 1 second when damage can occur every 8 seconds. So 8 second duration, 8 second cooldown applies on a light attack. And it's just minor lifesteal. That's interesting. So, healing taken, max health, healing done, max health. PvP set, like that could be a decent straight up tanky set. Healing taken, healing done, max health, and minor lifesteal. I don't think it's going to overtake many of the other tanky, heavy armor sort of sets, but it's not useless, but probably not as useful as most other sets you'd run in that situation, I feel like. I mean, if you really want to get minor lifesteal in a class that doesn't have native access to it, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's not awful, but I'd have to think more about where a situation where that would actually be useful. Alright, Centrite's Grit. Healing done, max health, healing taken. So this is a crafted set. Being damaged by damage over time, ability increase your healing received by 6%, and your physical and spell resist by 25-85. Boy, that'll really help out with bleeds. Oh wait, it gives you physical and spell resistance. Never mind. Alright, pretty much be good against fighting a DK, because that would just straight up prevent them from pressuring you. I mean, let's face it, you pretty much always have a damage over time on you, so... Tanky set. I mean, honestly, I feel like it's just a straight up better version of that. Honestly. It's craftable too. That gives you like 1 more max health. This one gives you healing received by 6%, probably more useful than lifesteal and physical and spell resist. Because I'm assuming this works like it says, after being damaged, so it's like every tick it applies this effect if you've got a damage over time on you. I mean, I feel like that's honestly just a straight up better iteration of that, honestly. If you wanted to have a 5-piece tank set and it's craftable. Either way, it's an interesting set. I can see that being worked into a couple builds. 6% healing received is actually a pretty good amount. Healing received is underrated. I mean, 6%, it's not insane, but 25-85 spell resist and healing received, like, it's also got those bonuses. Like that would actually, if you stack a good number of dots on you, that would actually make you very tanky. Or hot, sorry. That would make you pretty tanky. It'd be pretty good. It'd be pretty good actually. I don't know. That's viable. That could have some fun uses. All right. Stam health, magic recovery, stam recovery. That's nice. That's pretty nice actually for quite a lot of PvP tunes crafted. When you resurrect an ally, you gain weapon and spell damage and cost reduction roll abilities for 10 seconds. Okay. Dude, pair that with Kags, 2 craftable sets. Any armor what you want. Designated Reza on a Templar. I mean, it's niche. It's niche, but that's pretty cool. Like, that's not something you're just going to throw into any build. That's something you need to put in a build that's designed to res people, and... I mean, PvE hard modes probably don't need it. They could just stick with Kags. Kags is what you want there, and I feel like that's not worth it in PvE much. PvP, that'd be great. In case it wasn't clear, I'm mostly talking from a PvP perspective. Mostly because the PvE stuff, let's be real, everyone just look at Outcast and Hodor. They pretty much cover all the PvE shit for high end. But anyway, max mag, max stamp, spell damage, weapon damage. When you heal yourself on an ally summon, Cadwell's Noble Mount Honor. Wait, what? Hold the fuck up. We got a set that summons horses? It's a set that summons horses? That's interesting. 1290 health over 4 seconds. It's not a crazy heal. 10 seconds over 4 seconds. Okay. 10-second cooldown though. Explosion until 12,000. It's not even burst damage. 12,000 damage, and it's a proc set. Honestly, doesn't sound like it would be. I mean, 12,000 healing over 4 seconds. Halve that in Cyrodiil. I mean, obviously PvE probably not useful. PvP. When you halve that heal, that's 6,000 over 4 seconds. Even when you amp it up, you're looking at maybe like 3k at max, probably, healing per second. For 4 seconds every 10 seconds, not really worth it. And damage-wise, probably even worse. So yeah, probably not very practical, but sounds fun as shit. Sounds fun as shit. Alright, the trial sets. Here we go. Oh, here we go. Crack the neck. Oh. Okay, spell crit, spell damage, minus Slayer, typical. Reduces the cost of magic is 8%. When you kill, restore Magicka, gain major expression. So yeah, literally Magicka VO. Literally Magicka VO. Every Magicka tune running VMA is jumping with joy right now. Absolutely. Fantastic. Trials situations, still probably not, you still wouldn't run it in like a trial, but Maelstrom, maybe even Black Rose. Yes, please. Yes, please. Give me all the sustain. 10 out of 10. Very happy about that one. Honestly, Magsox might like it too. Hashtag Magsox. And where are we at now? Medium. Yeah, weapon damage. Minus Slayer. I can't talk today. Oh, no, it is Major Slayer for 15 seconds. Major Slayer for 15 seconds. Hold up. Wait, Major Slayer for 15 seconds. Well, it's for melee. Because it's Stam. There's usually quite a few synergies you can pop. I mean, Jesus. I feel like that might be best in slot. Reliquin. Front bar that, because you just have to make sure you activate the synergy on the front bar. You can front bar that. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that's best in slot. I mean, when it comes to straight up like a percent damage bonus like that, it's like, it's going to require testing, but I mean 15% damage for 15 seconds. You should be able to get a synergy every 15 seconds without too much difficulty. You should be able to get at least very high uptime on that, at minimum. Very high uptime. And like I said, you can just front bar, because you only have to pop synergy on the front bar, so... I got a feeling it's going to be Reliquin and then Locus. Dude, the fucking names of this patch. Okay. Healer set, here we go. Magic recovery, max match. Minor Aegis. Yep, nothing really surprising there. Activates one of your synergies. You or the ally who activated this synergy gets 12% cost reductions for non-ultimate abilities for 3 seconds, 6-second cooldown. So 12% cost reduction for 3 seconds. I mean, 6-second cooldown, max 50% uptime. I mean, 12% cost reduction for 3 seconds, that's 3 abilities. And it's got a cooldown of 6 seconds, and it's going to be on 1 target. And it's not even you. Wait, no, you and... Okay, so you and the ally get it. So that means as a healer, you've got... Well, actually, as a healer, that means 12% of your cost reduction will be applying pretty much 50% of the time if you have allies activating synergies on cooldown. I don't know. For sustain sets, I feel like there's better options. End of story. Tank sets, these always go well. Everyone loves the tank trial sets.
Say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
They're always so popular. They're so popular, the Stam DPS set from Moore is still used by tanks. Thanks, sauce. Anyway, max health, max stam, minor aegis. 20 enemy, give yourself you and 11 group members minor courage for 15 seconds. Alright. I take it back. I take back everything I said. Thank you, Zos. You are great. Lovely and benevolent Overlord Zos has actually finally fucking realized that you don't need really any other sets to tank. You just need group support sets. 100% uptime and minor courage for you and your group for 129 spell damage. Best in slot. End of story. Best in slot. The special in-game home. Wait. Oh, you can earn it? Oh. Locks the first of 3 additional wings for this home. That's cool. So you can get a house from the chapter, and then you can actually unlock rooms by doing stuff. I like that Zos is doing that. I like those things. I like these things. We're actually rewarding you for playing the game. It's cool. 10 out of 10, Zos. Good on you. Blah, blah, blah. New crafting ingredients. Both of them effective minor heroism. I saw that. That's going to be interesting. If it's going to be like fucking Powdered Mother of Pearl, you make the drop rate laughably low, then there's no point, Zos. There's no fucking point. You can't use Powdered Mother of Pearl in crafting until we've just started abusing the fucking, the boxes for this event, because I've now got like 80 fucking... I got like 100 Powdered Mother of Pearls now. I got 80 Artane Broth. Thank you for that. But seriously, it's like when the drop rate's that low, you can't even use them for pots anyway, so those effects are useless. They're useless. Artifacts. These are going to be interesting. I'm going to roll about 4 to 5 times a day. So these are interesting. They've said that these will spawn as far away from the alliance that's like closer to the alliance that's losing. And they're designed, they can't be picked up by the Imp group, and they can destroy the Imp. I still feel like it would be much better if it was specifically the faction that has Imp can't pick it up. Because right now it's like, just get the Imp and his guys to zerg down the guy, and then you take the artifact, and you've got the Imp and the artifact, and you're basically unkillable. Like, it seems like that's a pretty obvious problem. Pretty obvious problem, so hire me, please. But anyway, yeah. You know, it's fine. It's fun. It's more stuff happening in Cyrodiil. There's still so much more I'd like added to Cyrodiil. I'm not going to go on a whole spiel about that, but there's so much cool stuff. Here we go. Faction locks. Faction locks. Faction locks. Says IC's getting an OCP and a CP enabled campaign. Cool. Think of one of each. So those 2 are alliance locked, and then the 7-day is not. I don't want to harp on alliance lock too much, guys. But here's how it's going to work. Here's how Alliance Lock is going to work. It's going to release. It's probably not going to change much. It's probably going to drop the population of PvP a little bit. And then no one's going to notice. That's probably what's going to happen. It's not going to end... For the people who hate Faction Lock, it's not going to be the end of Cyrodiil. Jesus Christ, calm the fuck down. For the people that have been screaming about Alliance Locks on the forums for so fucking long, congratulations. You're now going to see how little it actually does. And it's still not going to solve all the problems. Did you guys know? Because everyone on the forums, my favorite thing is like, dude, it's going to fix the population. There's actually hundreds and thousands of people sitting in corners, jerking off in the dark, waiting for the day faction locks come out. They're all going to come out to play PvP. Oh man, it's going to solve trolling. It's going to solve spying. It's going to solve faction imbalance. It's going to cure cancer. It's going to jerk me off while I'm driving my Maserati down the highway. Did you know the AI in Teslas is actually alliance locks? Did you know that? Dude, I mean, but guys, seriously, you know, the Germans would have won World War II if Russia was faction locked. Just saying. Sets being reworked. New themes of Necromancy. The Withered Hand set. That set was pretty much awful. What does it do now? When an enemy recently damaged dies, heals for health and magicka. Is that it? So wait, what did they change? It's just... So you just have to recently damage it to get the heal now, and it's marginally higher. Okay. Because I guess they had to change that because it's whenever, because if your necromancer mobs died, I guess it would heal you. Okay. Because that would have actually been cool. That would have actually been cool. You could have used this as a sustain set for necro. That would have actually been a really cool mechanic that was really unique and a really cool build you could do. But I guess nope, rip that mechanic now. All right. Anyway. Warlock. So they basically realized it's just a shittier version of Lich, and now they've buffed it to actually be competitive with Lich. So now it's 25% restore, 2,354 magic or more, 45 seconds shorter cooldown, or 15 seconds shorter cooldown. I'd have to go back and check the math on this. You got to do the math on how much magic you actually return, how much magic return you actually get for Lich plus the percentage buffs. Essence Thief, the meme set. What does it do now? So now it's guaranteed. Last 10 seconds, spawns 5 seconds, and it spawns closer to your target. I mean, this was a meme because the original version, it shot off in the corner, so every time you got the proc, you'd have to chase it off to the other side of the fucking map to get the stupid ball, and it was dumb. This one, they changed it so it's just like a little bubble on the ground. It's still annoying and not worth the trouble. I guess we'll have to see how it works now. Could be interesting. Literally just buff this one. Sharpens Invigoration. That's actually... This is actually not bad and no CP. I know Fangrush did a build with it and everyone's been screaming about it since, so I'm sure Fangrush is happy. Alright, Leeching Plate. This is always kind of So it's high chance to proc now. Damage is pretty much the same. Slightly bigger radius. Okay. Oh, it gives max health now, too. I mean, it's better. Still wouldn't say it's crazy, but it's better. Alright, moving on. Deal disease damage. Yep, okay, what does it do now? Does it deal disease damage? Oh, and inflict minor defile. Okay, so guaranteed defile set from Affliction. Okay. Makes that set more interesting, but it's still probably not worth it. Oh, they've changed it to stam recovery. Cool. I didn't even know there was max mag. Alright. Cool. Fix that set a bit. Alright, nice. Okay, cool. Nothing surprising there. There's plenty of sources of minor defile, but whatevs. Motifs, logs. Yeah, this stuff's already been... This has been debated back and forth a while now. I don't want to go into that here. Sky Shard Tune thrown to a character. Guys, FYI, this is not pay to win. You don't buy Sky Shards and then you win. It just literally saves you the trouble of farming Sky Shards. It's alright to complain about it, but please stop calling it pay to win. It's not pay to win. You don't know what the definition of pay to win is. Hashtag hot take. Oh, thank God. Thank God, guys. Hashtag free the mushroom. Finandrin's still locked up in that goddamn fucking thing. But they fucking freed the mushrooms. Goddamn. At least we know to Zos the fucking mushrooms are more valuable than wood elves. Alright, here we go. Combat and gameplay. As mentioned in this post a couple weeks ago, the main focus of this patch is bringing abilities in line with our standards for specific categories in terms of their cost, damage, ranges, etc. Avoid homogenization of how abilities interact with mechanics. Want to ensure we had a healthy standard to follow and build abilities. Could identify patterns better employ than our own playstyles. Few specific categories such as point blank areas damage. That being said, there's still plenty of other changes in Saddle. I expect to see this keep moving forward. Alright, cool. So, first of all, based on some of the changes that have already been rumored, this statement already seems questionable, but okay. Because fundamentally, they designed the game so that the core mechanics of what you need to do are in the weapon skill trees, which some people don't like because it means everyone has to use weapon skill trees all the time. But the idea behind that is that it functionally means that all classes have access to everything they need to be able to perform a role. The core things you need to be a DPS are in the weapon skill trees. Core things you need to be a healer are in the resto skill tree. Core things you need to be a tanker in the sword and board tree. Like, that's the idea. And it makes sense in a way. It's sort of it's a bit of a lazy approach rather than giving each class a specific way of doing it, but it's like, it pretty much means makes it a lot easier to balance, so I mean. But still, so this is gonna be, we're gonna see if they're actually trying to avoid homogenization, but anyway, here we go. After accepting a resurrection by another player, your character will now have 3 seconds of being in ghost form before being active again. Okay. That's actually a pretty big change. It's a pretty big change. So I'm guessing this is their excuse for excusing how broken the Necromancer result is. It's like, it's okay. It's okay. Now they have to be in a ghost form for 3 seconds. No, not acceptable. We haven't gotten to that yet, but the result's the one thing about Necromancer that I'm concerned about. That seems broken as shit. But anyway. Okay. I mean, generally speaking, that's interesting. It's kind of a nice change in a lot of ways, but yeah, that's interesting. Pets only having the healing received from battle spirit reduced by 50 rather than 50. I heard about this. This is the most Zos thing ever. This is the most Zos thing ever. Some guy forgot to put the fucking percentage in. Jesus fuck, Zos. Get it together. Get it together. This isn't the first time this has happened. Oh my god. It's such a Zos thing to do. It's such a Zos thing to do. It explains why I was getting like 10k burst heals from that bird, because Jesus fuck. It was out of control. It was out of control. But anyway. Pet shield sizes were not being properly reduced by battle spirit. Yeah, pets were pretty much indestructible. But yeah. Okay, pet's got a bug fix, so now pets are going to be less dominant. That's cool. Alright. 200 millisecond post-global cooldown from cast time abilities. Thank God. There was like this, there was a weird feeling with channel things where it's like, after the channel was up, you tried to cast something and it wouldn't go off. Yeah, it happens a lot with channel acceleration. It's really fiddly. It's annoying. Retain the ghost global cooldown, but had them reduced to 100 milliseconds rather than 200, done to prevent animation errors. Okay. So they're trying to fix animation canceling a little bit. Cool. Hopefully channel abilities feel a little nicer to use now. Because that was one of the big things no one liked about channel times. They feel like shit. So that's cool. That fear targets will no longer cause them flee in terror. Instead, they will cower in terror, unable to move while feared. Okay. So PvE, that's a buff. Especially for Nightblade tanks. Because now they've got access to a CC. Because trying to use Manifestation of Terror in a trial is the opposite effect, because they all just run off in random directions and it's a fucking meme. It's not what you want. So that's actually a buff for them. PvP. I mean, honestly, they ran in a random direction, so it was kind of difficult to use it tactically. It was kind of just like, maybe outposition them. I mean, yeah. That's fine. I feel like, I mean, we'll see. I don't think that's going to be too big of a deal. Reliability charge and teleport abilities when attempting to use them against high mobility targets. Okay. The snare that's briefly applies when casting when the ability increases 60% from 30%. Okay. So first of all, yeah, generally high mobility targets break shit all the fucking time. I hope that I hope that doesn't get abused. People like ambush spammers. Okay, interesting. All right. All mobilized from playbills and unsense will now apply mobilization route once applied to prevent multiple mobilizations from applying to the same target. Thank fuck. Once immobilizing, the ability to gain immunity for 3 seconds, similar to Roller's mechanic. They completely shut down builds with lower stamina pills and kept them from moving. We want a healthier, balanced power to interact similar to crowd control functions. Thank fuck. Mobilizer's got a nerf. So, you could, fossilize someone and then put, talons on them, and then they'd get, they're guaranteed to get the, immobilize. So now I can't apply it twice. So, because they could break free, dodge roll out of the, and then they get the immobilized from the fossilized as well. So they get fossilized, or they get immobilized twice in a row after breaking free. There's a few other times when that happened, but yeah, that's, yeah. Cool, fix that, cool. Visual effect, cool. Sieging destructible keeps and bridge freezes. Against the minor superior craftsmanship. Thank God. All these pets. I mean, I appreciated the effort. The pets were noble in their attempt to take down a bridge by fucking kicking it when you see the Twilight Matriarch kicking a fucking bridge, but still. Man. Stat effects could be dodged. Yeah, I've seen that a few times. That's not, that was annoying, but it's not the biggest deal. Well, when an arrow is made, it will not cause the arrow to disappear. This ability is reserved for magicians and magic trick shows, which we do not support in combat. Okay, they do not support magic tricks. Zos hates magicians, is what we've learned, guys. It's why they keep nerfing magic builds. It's because, goddamn, they're not a fan of magicians. They're not a fan of them. We all know Gina hates magicians now. Alright. Dying on a destructive magician cylinder causes your corpse magically float in the air. Alright. Cool, that's a minor thing. Alright. Visible seams and the visual effects such as magma armor. Thank God, dude. My little baby wings, the visual effects on magma armor looked off. It was awful. Health recovery, reduction of damage, an additional negative effect on purge abilities can be removed a limited amount of effects. Ooh. I didn't know that was happening. That's interesting. That's interesting. Alright, here we go. We're in the skills now, baby. It's getting lit. Let's go. Damage initial his ability by 200% to be on par with that abilities. Recommend damage for the entire ability rather than just the damage over time. So the initial damage of Fiery Breath has been increased. Cool. Like, the initial hit was honestly like weak source. And it's a damage over time ability, so that's cool. Damage ability more by 20% to put it on par with our gap closer standards. Cool, it did basically no damage. Responsiveness to pull speed and ability to reach situation where players was still CC'd after the pull was complete. Wait, responsiveness to the pull speed. Oh, okay, gotcha. Because, yeah, there was like that little bit of a delay. Okay. Just improve the chaining. Alright, cool. This ability morph now operate like the Flames of Oblivion morph, where they'll scale with your highest defensive stats. Exclusively as a dynamic scaling mechanism. Instead, morph retains scanning a major savagery and hits one additional enemy. Oh. That's a big buff for DKs. So now the cauterize heal. So now the cauterize can be used as a heal for stand DKs, and this morph now hits one additional enemy. Whew, that's cool. That's a big buff for DKs or stand DKs especially. Honestly, it doesn't matter that much for mag DKs, but it's a big buff for stand DKs. Fuck yes. That's like. That could be really useful in PvP now, especially the cauterize morph. Ooh, that sounds cool. All right, here we go. Lava Whip. Molten Whip. Ruinous boost another grants a passive bonus to weapon and spell damage while slotted. Good, because this bonus was literally worthless. Access to Seething Fury. 33% damage bonus to your next Molten Whip cast and increase weapon and spell damage when you activate an armor flame that isn't Molten Whip. Stack up to 3 times last 5 seconds and a refreshing duration every time it is applied to you. Hold the fuck up. So every time I cast an Ardent Flame ability, I get 125 weapon damage, stacking up to 3 times. And instead, wait. Instead, this passive grants access to Seething Fury. So you just weave it between you weave a whip between your dots and it does 33% more damage and it gives you more weapon and spell damage. Holy fuck! Holy fuck! Holy fuck! That's going to be, well, PvE, that is a massive buff, because as you use that effectively in your rotation, that is a lot of extra damage, my guy! That is a lot of extra damage on mag DKs, well, mag DKs mainly. This is still a mag, we didn't get sandwiched, did we? No, yeah, okay. So it's still magic damage, but, damn! So you can effectively get 33% more damage on your spam ball and just get a bonus to weapon and spell damage whenever you cast. Oh my god. Was under budget in terms of total power compared to Flame Lash, and rather than reducing that more, if we want to bring this up to par, has the potential to disrupt a static rotation in combat, so we wanted to add a diverse bonus ability to engage in different ways. Can decide to simply follow a normal rotation saver for a heavy hitting attack after building up stacks. Oh, okay, so you got to do it 3 times and then cast it to get the... Okay, I got you. So if you weed the whip between each cast, you only get the 125. But if you do 3 whips and then cast the ability, you get 375 weapon and spell damage and a 33%. Okay, gotcha. That's a really... that actually had some cool sort of burstiness to PvP. That's going to be really good for mag DKs in PvP. That's a lot of extra damage. PvE-wise, again, straight up extra damage for mag DKs. That's pretty nice. Okay. Run back to the bar to slot it on. Okay. So don't get it on the back bar. Either way, that's a really big buff. That morph is actually... Because that morph was useless before. Now that's actually... That's interesting. That's interesting. We'll see how that goes. That could be really powerful. Alright. That's going to be really nice for PvP probably, honestly. Oh, I don't know. I mean, you get the stun from Power Lash, though. I don't know what. I'll have to do some testing on that. Have to do some testing, but that looks really appealing now. Alright, Searing Strike. Follows standardized damage on the recruit's duration 8 seconds. Approximately 12.5 to make up for the loss of the first tick. Okay, so just standardized it. Okay. So it's not really a change, they just standardized it to 8 seconds. Alright. That's fine. Just brings it in line with other damage over time abilities. Easy. Alright. Coagulating Blood. Increases the heal of this morph by 19% to put it better in line with other burst heal abilities. Alright, Coagulating Blood is... Jesus. 19%? Dude! The rise of the Mag DK is coming! They're bringing back Mag DK! They're bringing back Mag DK! They're buffing Stam DKs and they're bringing back Mag DK in a big fucking way. 19% stronger burst heal. Another really strong option for Whip. Slightly more damage on Fire Breath. This still sucks, but anyway. This is still garbage. Man. The fuck else are they gonna add? Dark Talons increase damage. Alright. Burning Talons morph. So a little bit more damage on Talons. I mean, no one really uses Talons for the damage, let's be real. They didn't... the synergy is about the only thing in that ability that's really worth it for damage. So, you know, whatever. That's whatever. Increases the radius of abilities morph to 8 meters. Applies a more aggressive snare to the targets it's cast on. Thank fuck. No more missing leaps. Thank Christ. So it's like, it's 1.5 meter bonus, so it's not going to be like a big... It's not like a giant bigger thing, but it also gives a slight more snare when they're casting it. So it's specifically designed to just make it so they can't just walk out of it. Because that happens all the time. Like, honestly, it's like, if it's a moving target, don't bother leaping them, because half the time it won't land. Thank fuck. Thank fuck. Duration split ranks up, but rather by 1.1% size. Roof clarity. Okay. The shield on this has always been pretty garbage, so... okay, cool. It's now a 1k shield instead of 800 shield. Cool. No one gives a fuck. Alright, damage initial hit is more by 25%. Damage to the latest approach by 7%. Which takes it to that standard. Remove the 6 target cap for the heal, interrupt, and resource restore for this ability. Note this puts the ability into the rule breaker category. Damn, that's a lot. 25% from the initial hit, 7% bigger explosion. No cap? Jesus. And a heal? Dude, 1vx's are gonna fucking love that shit, first of all. 1vx's are gonna love that shit. Ability protective scale. Converts the reflect function into 50% damage reduction from projectiles. Happens to all 3 versions of this ability. Oh. Guys, I'm gonna have to rename Baby Wings. Remember our sweet baby boy? He's gonna have to be renamed. All around me are familiar faces. Cause Wings is garbage now. I mean, it's not actually garbage. Alright, it's not garbage. Increases damage to reflective text. Now cause you to launch fire, all but attack and deals damage. Alright, cool. So that's pretty much just the counter. Cool. Functionality. Alright, cool. It's their reasoning. Gameplay that granted the caster an effective 100% damage on top of the ability to return harmful damage and controlling effects back at the caster. Extremely polarizing in performance, going from absolute denial of range text to offering little effective power when being bombarded with multiple projectiles. So here's the thing. people complaining about wings, they are either mag blades and are justified in their complaining. Mag blades, I feel ya. You are justified in complaining about wings. Everyone else, learn to play. I fucking said it. I did it. Learn to fucking play. Wardens, you got half your abilities are unreflectable. What are you fucking complaining about? Templars, most of your abilities are unreflectable. What are you complaining about? Fucking, what else is there? Sork? Again, just don't fucking shoot frags at him. If you're complaining about him reflecting Flame Clench, guess what, Sork? You've got Streak and Rune Cage. Unblockable, Rune Cage is unblockable. Streak is unblockable and undodgeable. You got nothing to complain about. Get good. That's the bottom line with fucking wings. That's the bottom line. Mag Blades, I will 100% agree. Mag Blades got countered way too hard by wings. They get countered way too hard by wings. It reflects Crippling Grasp, it reflects Assassin's Will proc, and it reflects Swallow Soul. So if you want to be able to fight a mag DK on a Mag Blade, you have to lose your healing from Swallow Soul and run Force Pulse. You have to lose your high damage proc, and you have to lose your main damage over time. That's really unfair to Mag Blades. Really unfair to Mag Blades. Like I said with Mag Hook, you got plenty of other options. You can't reflect Haunting Curse. Can't reflect Mage's Wrath. Like, you can't reflect Rune Cage. You can't reflect Streak. Like, it's just pretty much just frags. And if you're dumb enough to still be using Flame Clench. If you're using Flame Clench, you're making a conscious decision knowing it's reflectable. You have other options. You are making that choice, and you're accepting the fact that you will have to deal with the DK's wings. It's like, yeah, the solution to wings, make it so Crippling Wings and Swallow Soul aren't reflectable. Because that's about, like I said, that's about the only time where it's like, it definitely counters Mag Blade specifically too hard. Every other class, like, get good. I've played pretty much all the other classes and fought DKs. I can fight DKs. I fight DKs on my Sork all the fucking time. Guess what? All I gotta do is just not shoot frags at him when he has wings up. Crazy, right? It's a crazy notion. It's a crazy notion. Anyway. Because realistically, I mean, 50% damage reduction, it's still really strong. It's still bad. That's still really strong. 50% reduction, that's a lot. That's a lot. And it also means that will apply to shit that was... The projectiles, so does that mean all ranged attacks now? I'm curious if it's still specifically only attacks that were reflectable get the 50% damage reduction, or if it's from all ranged damage now. Either way. Either way, we'll see. We'll see. But bottom line is, you literally just took a fun and engaging mechanic that actually made a class feel unique and just replaced it with a generic buff. This is what I'm talking about with homogenization of abilities. Homogenization of abilities. We don't want every class to be a Warden where all you're doing is running a buff rotation and hitting 2 damage abilities. That's why Warden sucks. Warden is incredibly fucking powerful. It is so boring and mindless to play. Literally just have Surrender up and just watch all your buff up times and then hit 2 damage buttons. Easy. We don't want that. I like having wings as a fun and dynamic ability that you have to work around when fighting and you have to utilize correctly when using yourself. Literally just removing fun and engaging gameplay mechanics and replacing them with generic buffs leads to a boring game. End of story. Regardless of whether or not this is actually a nerf or a buff, because honestly 50% damage reduction is kind of a buff, and potentially. If that applies to all ranged attacks, I mean it's projectile so I don't think it's all ranged attacks, but that is probably a buff in all honesty, but you're straight up removing a fun and engaging game mechanic and replacing it with a generic buff, and I'm not okay with that. I like having fun and unique things that you have to deal with. And again, if you're whining about wings, you're either Mag Blade and Justified, or you're a bad player who doesn't know how to deal with wings. End of story. Alright. Ashclad, increased the healing of this ability by 15%. Holy fuck, dude. Dude! Increase the healing by 4%. Damage over time. Increased damage of the initial tick. Dude! Dude, they're buffing Mag DK left and right. They're buffing Mag DK left and right. This is fucking awesome. I fucking love it. Alright. Fuck yeah. Straight up better healing from Ashclad. Ashclad was already pretty nice, but now, damn. 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 Alright. So the final links land on integers rather than fractions. Thanks, Sauce. We hate math. Okay. Wait. Okay, so yeah, it's just making them standard numbers, alright. Cool. Just like, that's just OCD. That's just straight up fixing OCD. Thank you, Zos. Thank you. Does it actually, wait, Magma Armor, it's 12 seconds now. Ooh. So I actually got a slight buff to Magma Armor, slightly longer duration. Slightly longer duration on igneous weapons. Cool. Obsidian Shield morphs 8 seconds. I wonder if that buffs the... Is that just the shield, or is that the major mending? Because we'll get another 0.8 seconds of major mending. That's kind of nice, too. Alright. Either way, nothing yet. Yep, alright, cool. Cool. Overall, for DK, apart from the wings change, which I don't like, because, again, it's not necessarily because it's a nerf, but it's more... That's the wrong skill. It's not necessarily because it's a nerf, but more that it's removing a fun and unique fundamental aspect of... the class's identity. But other than that, really good buffs for Mag DK. I feel like, I mean, honestly, it's going to be strong in XP. I don't think any of that's really going to push it into overpowered territory. It's going to be very strong. It's not going to be, I don't think it's going to, there's nothing there that's like blatantly overpowered for the DK changes. It's going to be some really nice changes. There's actually a decent option for picking the other morph now. Seems like Power Lash is probably going to be simpler to use. But Molten Whip, if you can pull it off, is going to have much more value, is what I'm feeling like from reading that. But it's going to be more difficult to pull off. But anyway, cool. So yeah, overall, pretty good changes for Mag DK, apart from the wings. All right. Assassination, Deathstroke. This ability in the morph will no longer apply major defile to the target. Now apply minor mangle to the target. For the duration of the stun, if cast with 120 or more ultimate. What? Is Zos nerfing Nightblades? The fuck? But anyway. Okay, so... No more major defile on Incap. I'm okay with it. Honestly, Incap was a bit of an overloaded skill in a lot of ways. Bunch of damage, increased damage against target, defile, and a stun. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, I'm okay with that. There's a... I do want to talk more about Nightblades, but I'll wait until I see all the other changes, see what comes in line with this as well. Because, like, a lot of ways, Nightblades are crutching on Incap more than anything. Incap and Cloak are pretty much, like, the two main things that Nightblades have to clutch on right now. So we'll see if they make any other changes to make up for this, but, yeah. Minor Mangle, that's kind of cool, because Minor Mangle doesn't really have any other good sources. Duration of the stun. How long's the stun again? I don't remember how long the stun is. How long's the stun? That's the wrong thing. How long is the stun on that again? I don't remember the duration of the stun. Nightblade, Assassination, Deathstroke. Stun is 6 seconds on Soul Harvest. Or 4.5. So Minor Mangle for 4.5 seconds. Okay. Okay. I'm assuming it means for the same duration of the stun, even if they break free from it, I presume. Hang on. For being a very potent ultimate, wanted to retain this ability's identity set mark for death when your target helping the Nightblade excel at assassinating high priority targets while reducing some of their overbearing nature it enables. Soul has been left untouched with its morph, only granting a conditional bonus previously. Now Solvus conditional, while Incap doubles down on offering 2 powerful conditional bonuses. Okay. So Soul Harvest hasn't changed. It's just the Stanblade nerf. Okay, cool. Because Magblade didn't really need a nerf. Stanblade, that's cool. Minor Mangle for 4.5 seconds actually makes it interesting. Because honestly, in some ways, that might actually help gankers. Because that's 10% reduction on health. That actually might help you gank targets in a lot of ways. It just means that it's... Instead of just making it impossible for them to out-heal it, it's like now it makes it easier for them to kill you. So that's actually... That's interesting. That's interesting. I like that they're in a major defile in that kit. And the minor... So it's easy to recover from the... So essentially what this means is if you get it to 120, you're going to be able to do more damage very quickly. Because they've got 10% less health for you to have to burn through to get them an execute. But the downside is it no longer has that long tail where they can't heal out of it. So it helps gankers, it doesn't help Nightblades in general, I feel like. So it's an interesting change. It's an interesting change. Let's see if that shakes out. Because obviously the Major Defile is probably more worthwhile than the Minor Mangle, but I like that it's also tied to the 120. That's nice change. It's a nice change. Because it's still 20% extra damage a stun and a fuck ton of damage. Like, it's still really strong regardless. So that's an interesting change. Remove the minor berserk buff from this ability on its morphs. Oof. Oof. So PvE wise, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's not the worst thing in the world from a PvE perspective. You usually get minor berserk from your healers anyway. Means they're in VAS. They're now stuck with what's it called? Magblade's are now stuck with slime crawl like everyone else. Okay. The Spectral Bow now heals for 33% of the damage dealt if you are within 7 meters of the target. Will continue to persist after logging off. Increases heal. So Merciless Resolve, that's the Magicka morph. Increases healing down to 50%. Increases the duration to 30 seconds from 20 seconds. Jesus. So for Mag, you lose the minor berserks. That's a lot of damage, but you gain a lot of healing. 50% healing for the damage done. So you actually got a burst heal on Magblade now. That's cool. So the burst heal aspect is really cool for Magblades. That's actually a really nice buff for Magblades. Getting a giant burst heal when you hit him with that damage. That's really cool. That's really cool. Losing the minor berserk might be overkill, honestly. It might be overkill. Like I said, PvE, it's not too big of a deal. PvP, oh, it's rough. Like, Standblades could use a bit of reduction in damage, but, I mean, Magblades didn't need it. Magblades didn't need it. They also lose minor endurance. Again, a nerf to Standblades in PvE. A seriously underrated nerf to Standblades in PvE. That was actually, like, 150 stam recovery around there. It was pretty nice. But you get the increased duration to 30 seconds, so you actually have to cast it less. Overall, PvE-wise, it's rough for solo content. It's not the worst thing for PvE. It's going to be really nice for Magblades in PvE, actually, for, like, Maelstrom and stuff, because they've got the heal. Although they lose some damage and stuff. So, I mean, overall... Oh, actually, let's read the quote here. Developer comment, I didn't see it. Master high single target damage and a wide toolkit. We give him too many potent tools on skills. Continue using even without added bonuses. We've removed the minor berserk from this ability since overall performance are roughly where it should be comparative to other abilities. Introduced a healing bonus to help Nightblade class gain access to more high-risk staying power. Ensure the target hasn't prepared themselves for defenses, otherwise he'll return on a substantial amount. Must be in range of their opponent where they are most susceptible to risk. Okay. So yeah, PvE-wise, I'm not too worried about it. It's not the end of the world for PvE. Nightblades weren't the top dog for DPS, but they were definitely up there. I think Mag Templar actually took over from but surpassed Magblade this patch, if I recall. Standblade was actually very high still. So I mean, overall, it's not too bad. Magblade's got a burst heal now, very nice. Overall, not the worst change. Makes them a bit more survivable because Magblades are really struggling right now. Yeah, it's sort of a give and take. Lose the minor berserk, but you get a burst heal. You lose the minor endurance, but you have to cast it every 30. You have to cast it 10 seconds less. So, okay. Said targets affected by the initial damage will be inflicted with minor vulnerability for 8 seconds. Both players and NPCs. What? 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 Hold the fuck up. Okay, so they take away minor berserk and they give you minor vulnerability. Okay. Alright. 8 seconds. A unique fix to help give different abilities in their own identity flare. Was lacking in Department of Gameplay since his auxiliary was inactive in some parts of the game. Should not skill focus on being single target assassin when you utilize a larger variety of... Okay. So yeah, they get rid of the minor berserk, but they give him minor vulnerability. Okay. 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 So is this... Okay, so that's... Yeah, that's to the base morph. Okay, so that's to both the Stam and Mag version. Okay. Alright. So now they've got to go back to the teleport in cap if they want to really capitalize. Gives you more counterplay to the ganking move, because you can dodge it easier. For Magblade, that's actually kind of nice, too, because now they can still access minor vulnerability to help their damage. Okay. I like that. So now it's they gotta work a little bit more to get that extra damage. Okay. Okay. Alright, I can get behind that. PvE-wise, I mean... I feel like that might actually be nice for sap tanks, because I mean, they can just... If they can find a slot for that, then they can just apply minor vulnerability to permanent uptime. DPS, I can't see them running Teleport Strike. DPS. I mean, I guess if you could... No, you probably can't find a slot for it in minor vulnerability. No, you already get minor vulnerability. Nah, never mind. PvE-wise, not a big deal. Could open some interesting opportunities for tanks and healers, but other than that, meh. PvP-wise, it's going to make it so if you want to maximize on damage, you've got to do a bit more setting up with the Nightblade. So that's cool. And offers a bit more chances to counter. Okay. I can get behind that. Because the fact that they don't just get it passively and then I have to ambush you to get the extra damage is cool. Because again, it's like, it's more counterplay. It's more counterplay. Because you can... Dodge roll. Actually, can you dodge roll ambush? I think you can dodge roll ambush. If you dodge roll the ambush, or if you see the ambush coming in, know they want to apply vulnerability and then do the incap like they used to when it used to empower. It's like now you got a chance to dodge roll the incap, so it's like okay, that's cool. It adds another layer of interestingness to Nightblades. That's cool. Okay, no one set target with fear ends. Fears up to 3 enemies up from 2. Cool. It's the base morph. My name's targets also increasing the number of targets feed to 6 enemies from 2. That's actually a nerf. Okay. That's an interesting nerf. Because Minor Maim was really nice for helping Nightblade stay alive. From that. I guess we're all just going to use the traps now. The traps are seriously underrated. There's like, I think it's capped at like 12 targets you can fear. Or is it 6? I can't remember. It's a lot. You can fear a lot of people with those traps. And you can put down 2 of them. The main reason, honestly, the main reason you picked Master Stereo, honestly, was for the Minor Maim. That's... But you can fear 6 targets now? I mean... That's an interesting nerf. Like, that straight up decreases their staying power, because you took Minor Maim off their CC, but anyway. Alright. Interesting. And duration can increase to a maximum of 8 seconds with other passives. Dark Cloak. So it also prevent confusion. Cost reduction rather than increasing the rough operation of healing. Okay. So, the people that are abusing this with the stupid trolly 80k health builds now does not work like that. Now it does not work like that. It's more of a longer heal over time. Because they move the burst heal to the Assassin's Will. That's a good change. Sap tanks might be a little rougher on them now because they don't have a burst heal, but for general PvP, sap tanks aren't a big thing right now anyway. For general PvP, it's a nice change. Straight up decent hot. I mean, actually, it's not even that decent. 2% in Cyrodiil. I don't know. That's honestly seems kind of garbage now, but alright. I don't know why you'd use that anymore. Such a weak heal now. Yeah, I don't know why you'd use that. Alright, unless you want to use it just to give you the hot and then your shadow barrier. Hold up, did they have a comment here? Healing compared to what the tooltip implied, not providing a lengthened period of time to engage with the minor protection granted. Oh, that's right, it gives minor protection as well. Okay. Right, I forgot, it gives minor protection. Okay, so it gives you the minor protection for a long... Okay. So now you cast it, you get 8 seconds of minor protection, 4 seconds of the resistances from shadow barrier, and a heal over the time. Alright. Okay, so yeah, it's more healing, but it's over a longer period of time. But you get minor protection. Okay, so that's actually kind of good for staying power then. If you don't want to be stealthy. Because if you keep that up, you can get minor protection and a nice heal. Okay. That's interesting. That's interesting. Because they, like I said, they moved the burst heal to the Merciless Resolve. Okay. Cool. So if you're a tanky build, you've lost your burst heal, but if you can't do damage with the Merciless Resolve, you can't get a burst heal, but you got better survivability out of this. Interesting. Alright. Dark Veil. Passive granted 1 and 2 second duration rather than 8.15%. Okay. In short durations, yeah, relatively the same. Okay, that's just making it easy to understand. All right, cool. All right, Summon Shade. Building our skills with casters max magic, spell damage, or stamina and weapon damage. Okay, so it scales properly. That's cool. Stamina and weapon, cool. Attack every 2 seconds. So they attack slower. Interesting. Change the tooltips. All right, cool. Fixes didn't increase the ranked up. Now okay, so the Dark Shade Morph, 50% more damage is part of his Morph functionality. Cast can happen 5% more frequently before it deals 20% more damage. So that's the one that chases you around, I believe. Because there's one morph where it summons 2 of them that chase you around, and the other one is the ranged one that teleports. I think that was the... Yeah, Dark Shade. Yeah, that's that one, and then this is the one where you teleport. Okay. Yeah, this one does minor maim. So I guess they want you to use this for minor maim instead of the other one. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. No longer applies major fracture. Holy shit! Dude, they're nerfing the fuck out of Stamblades! Damn! Use the ability on the flank of an enemy. Reduce their physical resistance by 5%? Okay, first of all, Zara, stop doing this. Jesus Christ, this is just fiddly and annoying. As much as I like that stuff, that's just fiddly and annoying. It's the reason I don't use the flanking set. It's still fucking fiddly and annoying. Well, Nightblade has less moments of redundancy with their own kit. Mark's target exists primarily as the class way to gain access to... Primarily. Sure, I know every Stamblade that runs Mark Target. Yeah, they all run Mark Target for that. They totally don't just use that. Alright, okay, sure. That's just a funny statement. But anyway. Having a morph of your main ability grant the same thing. Heavily reduced the value of having Mark Target. I mean, you're not wrong. Stack by caster. Okay. So, big nerf to solo content for Stamblades. Trials, again, doesn't really matter. You're already getting that fractured. You're already getting that applied. For PvE trials and stuff, even dungeons, like pretty much anywhere that's not solo, that doesn't really matter in PvE. PvP, that is big mucho nerfaroonies. Jesus. That's 5,300 pen that Stamblade has just lost access to. Well, they haven't lost access to it, rather. They now have to run Mark Target for that. So it seems like they're just making it so they can't just go in-cap surprise attack and get all their damage. So now you gotta ambush in to get the major vulnerability, then you gotta apply Mark Target to get the fracture. So it's like you gotta really hone in. This is the target I'm gonna kill, and then it's like that's the focus. Okay, I sort of like that because then it's like it nerfs ganking a lot. It's still like honestly, it's still really strong if you're just like in a normal fight back and forth. Like it's still really strong. Like that honestly. No, because you gotta lose a skill slot. Yeah, it's not really stronger, but I mean, if you keep your fracture up and you keep your ambushes going, realistically, you're still going to probably be doing the same amount of damage you are now on its normal as a Stamblade now, because you still got you lose minor berserk, but you get minor vulnerability. You still get your fracture, so it's like in like a normal sort of dueling back and forth fight with a Stamblade, like if they're keeping their buffs up and they're doing those things, it's like they're still doing pretty much the same amount of damage. Technically, they could actually do more if you're still using surprise attacks. Now you get resistance by 5% if you hit him in the back. Percentage-based resistance reduction is always iffy. It's the reason no one uses maces, really. It's because it's really iffy. Because this applies after all the other resistance reduction. That's why it's usually iffy. But I don't know. Either way, it looks like it's a nerf in some ways, but it seems more of like they're forcing you into less straight up gank playstyle and more like you have to actually work to get your kills. Like you've got to mark your target, ambush in, you got to actually work to get all that damage on your target. So I'm okay with that, honestly. Stamblades are ridiculously strong in PvP right now. And honestly, overall, Magblades didn't get nerfed all that much. Apart from losing minor berserk, honestly, they didn't really get nerfed. So that's actually kind of cool. To follow standard is increased duration to 10 seconds. Damage per tick by approximately 4%. Same overall DPS, but over a longer duration. Alright, cool. So it's slightly longer. Reduce snare potency to 30%. Approximately 25% to make up for the loss of the first tick. Okay. So yeah, they did all these changes to try and stop damage over times being spammables, which was weird because about the underclass they did that with Stam DK. If Stam DK is the underclass, it doesn't have spammable. Thanks, Zos. Where's the Stam Whip, Zos? Where's the Stam Whip? Ugh. One day we'll get a Stam Whip, guys. One day. One day we'll get the Stam Whip. So then you get the massive snare from Debilitate, or you can take the damage from Crippling. Okay. So overall damage-wise, they're looking a little better from there. So that's, again, nice little buff. Not much of a buff, a little bit of a buff. Oh, I missed this. Okay, no, so, yeah, no, that's fine. That's just a, yeah, alright, cool. Or you can take a bigger snares. I hope there's something about snares in here. Doesn't look like it, but I hope there's something about snares in here. Alright, interesting. Overall, yeah, that's it's not too much of a change there, honestly. Not much of a change. The increased damages built in the sap is more by 25%. Is that the power extraction north? Still kind of garbage. I heard there was some changes to spin to in Soul C, but this was still kind of garbage. Major source for other mortality, better represent scaling skills. Okay, cool. So the AoE damage over time, or the AoE from Sap is better now. So again, straight up buff to Magblades. Better AoE damage on them too. That's good. So yeah, Magblade's got a buff for AoE damage. Stanblades, well, they don't really use that morph anyway, so that doesn't really affect them. How to cool down on the heal. If you had a set, so it's blood moon, you're not getting the full effect this bonus. Alright. Bug fix, cool. Increase the radius ability to 8 meters from 6 meters. That's cool. The radius is kind of short on this one. Initial hit and the first damage over time tick. With 4% to make up the loss. Okay, yep, same thing. So it's just basically a slightly bigger radius, honestly. We've identified a few more changes that were in the process of adjusting the more time of happening. In particular, note that Nightblade has several sources of major expedition. We're focusing on cripple and its morphs as well as the double take morph. Okay. Don't remove double take, please. You can remove it from crippling. Don't remove it from double take. Please. Please. Please don't remove it from double take. It's good on double take. It's good on there. Take it off cripple, sure, but leave that one. Because it's really nice having a source of expedition and evasion that doesn't require a weapon thing. It's one of the nice things about Nightblade. Okay, well, we'll see what those changes come in. Alright, so that's Nightblade changes. Overall, Stanblade's got to work harder for kills by the look of it. Magblade, they got some more survivability and staying power. Damage might be a little lower, and it might be a little harder to line up. Overall, not bad. Like, Magblades didn't get... Magblades are better, I'd say, overall. They're probably going to end up being in a better place. Stanblades, they're going to whine and cry, but realistically, those that learn how to adapt and utilize the changes to how they're going to have to work their playstyle to get their full damage, they're probably going to do just fine. I like that. And it means there's more counterplay and more ways to actually deal with the Stanblade, because they don't just go invisible and then just pop out and immediately unload all their damage. They've actually got to work for it now. That's cool. I like that. Overall, I'm pretty happy with those Nightblade changes. I like those. I like those changes. And PvE-wise, honestly, it's not too bad for PvE. It's not too bad PvE-wise. They should still be, like, this should still be in more or less the same place. Alright. Sorcerer, here we go. Crystal Shard. 15% put in line with their other cast time abilities. So is that just the... Oh, is this the base morph? Oh, okay. 15% reduced shard crystal frags? Okay. I mean... Sure, okay. Wasn't really necessary, but okay. If it would return reasonable heal if they were cast while silenced. I didn't even know I didn't think you could cast them while silenced. Wait, what? I didn't think you could cast Dark Exchange while you're silenced. The more you know. Okay. I thought you couldn't cast it when you're silenced. Interesting. I genuinely... Okay, alright, cool. In case, 4 seconds from 4.5. 82% to put it in par. Oh. Ooh. 82%. Because honestly, this morph sucked because the damage was useless. And the other morph gave major vitality. So it's like a shit ton of survivability, or it's like this damage was like even worse than Talon's, I think. It was awful. 82%. Jesus, I'm gonna have to look at that, because that could actually potentially be a kind of a strong AoE, honestly. That could potentially be a strong AoE. Actually, no, that requires you to... Doesn't that require them to not dodge roll for the explosion to go off, though? Isn't that the catch? Oh, no, it's when the effect ends. So yeah, they have to not dodge roll it for the explosion to happen. They doubled it, so it's still 1800 magic damage. That's before. Well, that's actually before stat bonuses. I mean, crank it up to like 45k. I mean, it's still not gonna be. It's still not crazy high. But I mean, if they up that damage, it might be more appealing. But yeah, like I said, they gotta actually not break free of it if they want to get the explosion. We'll see. I can't see that being like the main situations where you'd use that. I don't see why you'd bother with that morph, honestly. Usually it's on like a support build or something, and if you're on a support build, you probably want the Major Vitality you get from this morph. Yeah, where is it? No, not that one, that one. Major Vitality for 2 seconds plus 1 second. Usually want that, but anyway. How did it fail to continue suppressing area effect abilities inside of the area? Oh. Interesting. Does that mean if I... Okay, interesting. I don't recall that happening. It's hard to tell because PvP is so fucking buggy and laggy. It's hard to tell sometimes. Interesting. All right, they fixed that. Could be blocked. Interesting. AoE portion of the ability. It's the original target can block. Oh, okay, yeah. I was gonna say I didn't know there was a bug where they could block it. Okay, so it's just the AoE version. So the AoE explosion. Gotcha. Daedric Prey morph. Okay, so it's the same thing. It just Oh, it will deal less damage overall. That's shitty. That morph was already... Well, I mean, you mostly use that morph for the increased damage of your pets. In terms of the one built on the heavy attacks. Okay, cool. Again, easier function from pets. Nice. Nice. Honestly, we don't want to help pet sorks in PvP anymore, but still. Damage for 40. Okay. Alright. This was crazy strong. How much damage you could get your pets to do. It was crazy. You should have seen my Maelstrom runs on that pet sork. It was fucking stupid how easy it was. So yeah, I'm not really surprised. Overall, they reduced the damage potential of Daedric Prey. Interesting. Okay. Not being affected by this ability? Really? Okay, no, it's the unmorphed version. Okay, yeah, I was going to say. Alright, yeah. So yeah, slight nerf to... Honestly, better, easier to function for pet sorks. Overall damage nerf. Cool. Cool. Getting a 40% bonus strength rather than 20% bonus. Please note the previous bonus could not circumvent, so if you're already at that bonus, you will not see it change power. Okay. So that's a nerf to Hardened Ward. So the Hardened Wards are going to be a lot smaller. Dude, Maxwell's getting some nerfs. I'm probably gonna have to start double stacking shields now if that's getting 20% reduction. High defense stat increased the stun duration to 3 seconds from 1.8 seconds. I heard about this. Now grants 4 seconds of major expedition immediately. Oh, sorry. So yeah, it does stam damage now. And it's about a stun. Yeah, that bug happens sometimes. So now, Stam Sorks are rejoicing. Still doesn't count as a Stam abilities are. Still doesn't count as a Stam ability. Stam Sork still needs more Stam abilities. But still, that's nice. It's really nice for Stam Sorks. Also makes it even better as a stun now because it's 3 seconds. It's become pretty common to use Streak as your stun, honestly. Because it's unblockable, undodgeable. 3 seconds now. Yeah. Nice. That's a nice change there. Grants 4 seconds bonus per minute. Run a stun 2.5 seconds to make up as the ability progresses. Okay. Oh. Okay, so just change the way it ranks up. Okay, alright. Cool. Whatever. 12 seconds to retain the extra 4 seconds of duration increase. Damage is more by 5%. Increase duration from 8 seconds from 12 seconds. So Liquid Lightning lasts even longer now? Lightning Flood does a bit more damage. Okay. So Liquid Lightning's still better in PvE because it fits in a rotation better. Actually, if that's 8 seconds now. Ooh. Have to see how that works out on a Sork rotation now. If it's up to 8 seconds, then it does 5% more damage. Previously, this was too short to really fit in a rotation for PvE, so that's why everyone used Liquid Lightning, because this was just so fucking short. So it was 6 seconds, like you ended up losing uptime on it. You use this in PvP sometimes, if you're a AoE ball group build. But yeah, so this might be interesting. I have 8 seconds. That actually might fit in a rotation now, because that's the same duration as Wall of Elements. Or Blockade, sorry. So Lightning Flood might actually become the new meta for Magsork DPS, and that will mean more damage for Magsorks in PvE. So that's cool. That's a big buff for PvE. For the Magsorks, they kind of need it. Not a big buff for PvP, really. All right. Increase damage of the area of effect damage by 20%. Cool. I don't think anyone really cares about the Mage's Wrath AoE, but whatever. It's more about the single target damage, but I mean, sure. More damage in AoE, cool. Also being able to be dodged. Yeah, you can dodge the initial hit. Yep, now lands on the target, they'll not be able to dodge the detonation. Okay. So now the AoE damage, okay. Cool. Ooh. That's a really big buff to Magsorks in PvP, because they struggle with sustain a lot. So now it's like if you just use this morph, it's pretty much like as long as the target dies now, you get a bunch of magic back. That's nice. That's nice. This is overall not that big of a deal. It's just cleaning up how the AoE functioned. The single target's pretty much unchanged there. Overload, proper scale of staff expert in the ambush. Oh, really? It scales with the light attack damage there. Okay. 10% to improve the morph distinction. Okay. Overall, Overload's still kind of garbage now. That'll make it better, especially that. Because now you can actually buff it with those light attacks. But still kind of meh. Still kind of meh. So overall, Sorks. Magsork, Pet Sork's got a little bit of a nerf. A little bit easier to function. PvE-wise, Magsork looks like they're getting more damage, potentially. Potentially some more damage. And some better sustain. A little bit better sustain, because they got a few reduced cost things in there as well. But they do Hardened Ward. This isn't actually a nerf so much as a fix though, so I'm not sure if you want to count that. But yeah, they're probably gonna have to go back to double shield stacking, because I was just riding off Hardened Ward on my build. I'm probably gonna have to go back to using Harness again. But all right, Templar. What do these boys got? Damage its passive was able to be dodged, despite the fact that the bonus damage was they could already be blocked or dodged. I didn't know Burning Light was dodgeable in the first place. Okay. Cool. Fix that. Reduce the damage dealt. Really? Didn't do that much damage, but alright. Oh, okay. Okay. So you pick this one for damage. But it's like rather require them to be interrupted. Okay. So guaranteed to set off balance. Guaranteed off balance. You can take this one for damage, you can take this one for the interrupt. Overall, that's cool. That's cool. It's a pretty cool change there. Alright, Piercing Javelin. Increase the duration of the stun granted from this ability and its morphs to land on a beautiful whole number. Thank you, Gina. I love beautiful whole numbers. Base ability and Royal Javelin now stun for 2 seconds rather than 1.8. Binding will last 4 seconds rather than 3.5. Okay. Fix an issue where you couldn't hit the damage bonus cap without utilizing range increasing passes. Now it will get 2% stronger for each 1 meter between you and the target, up to 40% at 2 meters. I mean, okay, so overall, not much change there. 1.1. Praise the sun for whole numbers. I fucking agree, Gina. Now it's down to 1 second, so it's a lot easier to weave, and it also fits into the global cooldown. Cool. Not doing anything about. I mean, the problem with the ability not hitting is mostly tied to CC immunity, or snare immunity. Because if you don't know, there's a snare on this ability that people complain about, but the snare is there because it's a channeled ability, which means you walk really slowly while doing it. So there's a snare on the ability, so they can't just walk out of range of your strikes. Problem is now with all the fucking snares around, everyone just runs snare immune, and they can easily outrun your biting jabs. That's the reason it never fucking hits anyone, so. Yeah, they can't, it's a problem with that. Okay. Increase the radius ability to 8 meters from 6. Cool. That was actually kind of a tight radius, so that's nice. Damage rather than survivability. Base increased by 2 seconds for each hit enemy hit up to maximum 6 seconds. Grants empower for the duration rather than major protection. Ooh. Operate defensively already in their own skill lines, that's true. Toolkit for offensive moments wasn't being given enough opportunity. Backing up to being upgraded to deal magic damage. Then to also enable damage by through ultimate means, and the entire ability's duration will scale based on enemy's hit. Okay, so this is the stand morph. This is a stand morph, I believe. Right? Let me double check that. I'm pretty sure that's the stand morph. Yeah, okay, so this is the stand morph. Because the Magicka already gets Empower from Solar Barrage. So now, Stam, you can pick this and you can get Empower for the duration. That's cool. Alright. That's another really good option for Templars, because now you can get 6 seconds of Empowerment by casting this. But you lose the bonus from DB. Okay. Duration will... Oh, and the duration's increased by 2 seconds. Okay. So that's pretty cool, actually. So you can get a lot... If you hit multiple times, you can get a lot of fucking empowers out of that. That's a lot of extra damage. Alright. That's a cool change. Initial hit damage is building is morphed by 36%. Damage of the base building luminous shards morphed by 5%. Damage dealt... Okay, that's the way... Ranks up. Ranks up. Ranks up. Okay. So, Jesus Christ, shards do a lot of fucking damage now. It was already ridiculously powerful damage. Oh my god, initial hit damage is 36%. Dude, this is your AoE spammable now. This is your AoE spammable now. No other option. Fuck me. That's crazy. Alright. So that's literally just your AoE spammable for Mag Plus. Done dusted. Start lobbing the spears, boys. Start lobbing the spears. That's pretty fucking awesome, actually. Alright. That's a really big buff. I'm not sure if they needed that buff. PvE-wise, like, again, spammable. Great, you don't have to slot Impulse anymore. Actually, usually, you can just use... I guess you don't. Well, I guess it's range spammable. I mean, PvE-wise, you got another option for spammable damage, one way or another. Probably a little bit more DPS overall. It's only the initial hit that gets the bonus, but still. Alright. We're not power with Radiant Warmorphs. Want to gain the damage. I'll be honest, I don't think that's going to be useful still. It's still probably garbage. Still probably going to be garbage. Alright. No longer proc off direct damage attacks such as Spiked Armor or Thews or Harbinger's damage return. Thank fuck. Because that was stupid. If you put this on a DK and you're attacking them, the Spiked Armor would keep hitting the fucking Eclipse and then it would just heal the Templar. It was broken as shit. Like, if you literally kept your Spike Armor off on a DK while you had Eclipse on you, you couldn't do anything to prevent it. It would just be doing a bunch of damage to you and healing the Templar. Because you can't even do the counterplay of just not doing direct damage attacks. Because it would proc automatically. It was stupid. So thank fuck they fixed that. Reduce the damage dealing. Okay. Cool, so now it's less just brutal in terms of how much damage it returns. Okay. Cool. Eclipse was annoying as fuck. It's still like retains its unique functionality in that you still don't want to be doing it because it still heals them a fucking lot. So you still really do not want to be, like, it doesn't really change the fact that if you get Eclipse on you, you don't want to be attacking with direct damage attacks because they're still going to do a fuck ton of healing to them and cancel the attack. But now it's less punishing in terms of damage, so that's cool. That's cool. No longer gives damage initial hit. 3%. Okay. Wait, hold up. Lasts up to 9 seconds. So Power of the Light lasts 9 seconds now. Ooh. Ooh. That's a really big buff for Templars. It's a really big buff for Templars. Because since that scales of how much damage you can do, adding 3 extra seconds of damage you can use to ramp up that burst damage hit. Oh, it's going to be really good on Templars. Really good for PvE too, because it's a lot easier to keep the... Mainly in PvE, you run it for the Minor Fracture uptime. Easier uptime for Minor Fracture in PvE. Great. Everyone's happy about that. Everyone's happy about that. PvP, that is a potential for that being a lot more burstier. The damage in that being a lot burstier. And it also encourages you to stack max stamina. Because honestly, it was like... Since Power Light scaled exclusively off max stam, or there was initially an ideology that you want to stack max stam to get that Power of the Light proc to be really high. Problem was, you can keep ramping it the fuck up, but the problem was, if you're gonna do enough damage to get it to hit that massive high ceiling of damage in that 6 seconds to get it charged all the way up, like, they're probably already gonna be dead, is the problem. So it's like now there's 9 seconds. It's actually, you might actually be able to hit that with the extra 3 seconds. You might actually be able to hit a really high cap without killing the target because it lasts over 3 seconds longer. So it might actually shift the Templar meta to actually forcing it to push more into stacking max stam, because previously it just didn't matter that much. Interesting. Dark plays down to 1 second. Cool. Match other projectiles. Does that mean it's faster or slower? I think that means faster. Alright, so Dark Flag Anchor's got a buff. Okay. 37%. Damn! 37% is the equivalent of 0.1 seconds faster? Really? I want to see the math on that one. Break down the math on that one. Where do these numbers come from? Hold up. The numbers, Mason. What do they mean? I don't know, but anyway. Either way, reduce the base cost. Okay, cool. Consider direct damage attack instead of damage over time. Oh, yeah, that was happening too. Because I think this one was because... No, that was... Less ability result in getting 1 extra tick of damage. Ooh, so that got a buff as well. Dude, Solar Barrage is fucking crazy now. I'm not sure about this one. I'm okay with this because honestly it gets rid of Dark Flag Anchors. It's a bit more sustainable, a bit easier to cast, faster speed. I don't really know many people that run Dark Flare other than Dark Flag Anchors. You don't run it in PvE. Really? You run LE weapon. Most of the time you want a ranged weapon, ranged attack. Like I think that's pretty much just honestly. I can't recall the last time I saw someone use Dark Flare that wasn't a Dark Flag Anchor. Yeah. I don't know. It's an interesting change. But anyway. Okay, 8-second duration. Nice. Lost the first tick. Less burst damage. Okay. That's cool. I like that. So it lasts longer, less burst damage, but you get an extra ticks. Okay. Overall, generally, it's just more, it just pushes it into a further stronger damage over time set. Alright. Now that's 12 seconds. Nice. I actually still personally use that one. So it's slightly, it will hit slightly further away. Okay. Or extended duration. Okay. So, I mean, overall, it's just, again, it's just standardizing damage over time stuff. It's not really any other crazy change there. Alright. Target players behind them. Ah, okay. So they fixed that finally. They fixed that one finally. Cleansing Ritual. Grant healing and or damage based on the user's highest defensive stats. And then just max magic and spell damage. Ooh. Just magic and spell damage. Okay, so that's a buff for Templars basically. So now the cleansing, the heal from that was better, essentially. Dude, the damage on that's kind of garbage. No one uses that anyway, really. It's not strong enough to warrant PvE. And pretty much every situation where you actually really want to use ritual, the other one's usually better. Lasts longer and it cleanses more effects. So they really need to up the damage of this for it to really be worth it. Anyway, but that's nice for Templars. Templars getting some buffs. Yep. All right. Cool. So overall, Templars got a big buff. They got a new option in Radial Sweep. They got the gap close is a little more consistent. Fix the bug with Burning Light. The Spear Shards is a big buff for Magplars as a spammable. Sun Shields, whatever. Increased duration of Power of Light. I'm excited for that. That's going to be really interesting. It's going to be really interesting. But yeah, overall, nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy overall for Templar. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty happy with those. Those look good. Warden! God. So how much do you think they're going to buff Wardens this time, guys? How much do you think they're going to buff Wardens this time? I swear to God, Zos is like, they're just looking at the buttons. They got the meme with the guy with the fucking thing. He's like looking at the buttons like, it's like nerf Warden and buff Warden. Nerf Warden, buff Warden. Warden's already the most potent class in PvP there is. Buff it. Oh, we did it wrong, guys. Fuck. Seriously. I bet they're going to get buffed again. They keep buffing it. Falcon Swiftness. 2700. Reduce the cost. No longer grants major endurance. 6 seconds. Okay, so reduce cost, 6 seconds expedition. Okay, so that makes it worth casting now. Cool, so that's a straight up buff for Wardens. It's a straight up buff for Wardens. Straight up more mobility for Wardens. Not that they really need it, but they now have a really good option for Major Expedition. Really, really good option for Major Expedition. No longer grants Major Endurance. Honestly, that kind of sucks for Mag Wardens. That kind of sucks for Mag Wardens, if I'm being honest. That was actually seriously underrated for Mag Wardens. Stam Wardens, it didn't matter because they always have that up 100% anyway. Mag Wardens was really nice to have some extra Stam recovery, but anyway. Scorch and its abilities can now be blocked. Thank fucking Christ. Alright. Now we're talking. Counterplay. Thank fuck. Cool. The strongest damage over time, well, the strongest fucking burst damage ability in the game, it was AoE, unblockable, undodgeable. It was the reason Wardens were so fucking broken, is they could just rely exclusively on this shit for their damage. It's now at least got an element of counterplay. You can block it. Cool. So now you just gotta wait for the bugs to come out and block. Alright, cool. Thank fucking Christ. Counterplay. They're still gonna be very strong, but we got counterplay now. We got counterplay. I still would have preferred them making it like it's like a damage over time over 3 seconds or something, just to reduce the sheer burst potential and actually force them to run some more damage dealing abilities rather than just Scorch DB and Spin to win. Because literally that's the only 3 skills you need, and they're just 3 skills you need, and they're just so fucking potent in terms of their damage ability. But still, blockable. Okay, cool. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. At least we got some element of counterplay. All right. No longer applies Minor Defile, which was up to 6 enemies now properly reflected with Major Defile, which will cease once the ability ends or they leave the radius. Okay. So a bit of a nerf to Corrupting Pollen, which is okay. It was like the most potent form of Major Defile in the game. Like when I play my Mag Warden Hill, I just run around spamming it on people. That's what I did. But now it's like it had maximum affects 6 people, and they had to be in the area for it to happen. Okay. So that's overall a good change, I'd say. It's a good change. We actually got to work to keep it up now. All right. Okay, that's cool. Victims will seem not actively update to targets in the area. Now operate like other synergies, prioritizing the closest players to the center of the area of effect place. Also increase radius synergy prompt to 5 minutes to 3 minutes left, more accessibility. Okay. So it's just easy to access the harvest synergy. Cool. Radius of the heal up to 28 minutes from 12... Wait. Increase the radius to 28 minutes from 12 minutes to aid in better distributing the healing potential to group members. Okay, so that's the heavy attack morph. Yeah, okay, so... Yeah. I don't... Usually most people use that for the light attack healing. I don't know many people that use it as a heavy attack for an AoE heal for your team, but... it's more effective now, so maybe people will. Lotus Flower. Increase the range... Wait, is that... No, I just read that one. I'm dumb. I'm smart. I'm smart, guys. I'm very smart. I'm a smart boy. Yes, I am. I'm super duper smart. This ability is both in a scale with highest defense stats rather than just your max magic and spell damage. You're making fucking... You fucking... Why? I don't want that. I don't want you to give Stam Warden access to... Wait, what's the fucking skill? I don't want to give Stam Warden access or realistic access to all this free fucking ultimate. I don't want to give Stam Warden access to this. I don't want to give Stam Warden access to 10 ultimate. If you didn't know, this thing is cooldown based on per targets. If you swing to 2 people, you'll get fucking 20 ultimate. I don't want this. Wardens don't need... Stam Wardens don't need that. Stam Wardens don't need that. You just gave them another thing for expedition and mobility. They're already really mobile. They don't need that. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world, but just... They don't need it, man. They don't need it. They don't need it, alright? There's no need for Stam Wardens to have fucking access to this. I mean, okay, alright, I should bring us back. I guess this is for Stam Warden healers. It's for the Stam Warden healers. They want the Stam Warden healers to have access to that, for it to be useful. Okay. Sure. But the fucking alt gen return from that shit, it's insanely powerful. Because like I said, it doesn't cool down per people. Like you can literally get if you just just tether between like 5 people and leave the HOTS going, you get like that's 50 ult. 50 ult you're getting just from that. It's crazy. I don't want Stamborn's access. I don't know if Stamborn's are going to abuse it, but okay. I guess that's more I guess it's probably more useful for Stamborn healers. It's probably not going to be abused that much, but still. I don't think they really needed that, but okay. Okay. Increase heal over time from this building is more to 3% of your max health. Increase the destructive speed to require an enemy to cast. This is still the most useless skill in the fucking game. This skill is not even worth the time. It's awful. This skill's just bad. It's just a bad skill. It's just a bad skill. That's all it is. It's just not worth it. Just get rid of it. Alright. Remove the cost reduction rank up from this ability. Now all costs 37.80 at base. Interesting. How much did it... Wait. How much did that cost originally? So now it doesn't reduce the cost. So now the base cost is how much it costs. So yeah, now it's gonna cost 500 more for the crystallized shield. It's not getting the cost down. Size of the shield from this ability will increase as the ability ranks up. Okay. 22% of the ability's cost. Okay. Because no one uses crystallized slab, guys. No one. It's awful. This exists for the major heroism and the ranged counter. So essentially, it costs more, but now you get more return if they hit it. Okay. Oh wait, no, hold up. It just did it to 22% of the ability's cost instead of a previous base value. Okay, so maximum it can only return 66% of the ability's cost. So overall, basically crystallized shield is going to be more expensive to use. Is pretty much the takeaway there. It's going to be more expensive to use. Or will it? Hold up. 600 magicka times 3, 1800. Or was that... So it can return up to 66%. Well, I guess it depends on how much you have the cost reduced. Because if it's 22% of the cost... So now it's capped that you can only get 2/3 of the cost back, where I guess previously if you could reduce the cost enough, you could probably get more. I guess it's going to depend on how much cost reduction is, but yeah, that's interesting. So it's hard to tell. Crystallized slab, they really want to make it useful, but literally the only people running this for major heroism. Major heroism is too fucking strong. End of story. No one cares about crystallized slab. As long as it says major heroism, nobody gives a fuck about crystallized slab. No one gives a fuck about it. Alright. Base cost remains the same. Stream with 30 seconds. Okay. This is still a really weird niche skill. It's not really used much. It's used for tanks in PvE. It's used for tanks in PvE. And honestly, it's not really going to be... Like, that's pretty much a nothing change. Impaling shards. This is the annoying one, right? Yes. It's the annoying one. Okay. Fixed needs to have been in the middle of being removed before they're doing the last tick damage. Okay. Interesting. Counters direct damage on damage over time. Up to the tooltips to mention their increased chance to apply the chilled status effect. Alright. Okay. Honestly, kind of nothing changes overall. Like, that's... Slightly more damage, so I guess that's a buff for Mag Warden DPS for PvE. Yeah. Okay. Sleet Storm. Reduce the potency of the snare from this ability by 40% from 70. What? A nerf to permafrost? Thank the Lord. A nerf to permafrost? Not what permafrost needed a nerf for. So reduce the snare by 40% to 40% from 70. So first of all, I'm a fan of anything that nerfs snares. End of story. Snares, I still want snares to just the entire system to be remade from ground up. Because the system is broken, it makes no sense, it doesn't serve any function. I want the entire system deleted and remade with an actual idea in mind. But For now, I will settle for any sort of nerf and snares. That's good. Frankly, not what needed to be nerfed. The problem is that the Permafrost morph specifically, it's the strongest defensive, offensive, and utility ult in the game. 30% major protection, 30% for you and 5 allies. Makes it pretty much one of the strongest defensive ults in the game. Does a fuck ton of damage, makes it, it's not the strongest, but it's extremely strong as a damage ultimate. And the 70% snare made it extremely strong as a utility ultimate. It's like, we're about to push on a group. We need something to keep them in place. Don't worry, I got you. We're about to die. I'm about to die. Quickly, I need something to keep me alive. Don't worry, I got you. We're about to pick this target and do some damage. We gotta go fight him. Never mind, man. I got you. I got Permafrost slotted. That's all you need. That's all you need. Permafrost is all you need, guys. You don't need any other skills. Just double bar Permafrost. That's literally the fucking state it's in. Reducing this to 40% reduces its utility a bit. It still doesn't change the fact that it's way too strong as an offensive and defensive ultimate. Make it so the Permafrost Smurf doesn't get, keep the big ass snare. Just make it so the Permafrost morph doesn't get major protection. And then make it so the Northern Wind morph does, like, barely any damage. Easy. Then you make a choice. You can either take the damage, the snare, and the stun for the shit ton of damage on the Permafrost morph. That's a really strong offensive skill, but it doesn't help you defensively. Or you can take Northern Storm, which still has extremely strong utility and extremely strong defensive power, but it's just not very good offensively because it doesn't do much damage. Easy. Because right now it's like, it needs adjustments. But overall, I mean, I'm happy with any nerf to it at this point. I'm happy with any nerf. Alright. Rework this ability more so the damage increased by 30%, but remove the bleed from the ability completely. Okay, remove the bleed. I'm clear with it. Never mind. Hold up. The very next line. Bleeds in general still need addressing. Bleeds in general still needs addressing, so you don't get minor heroism from it anymore. Increase the bleed damage by 25%. Fucking shit. Fuck bitch. Cool. More bleed stacking. Great. But the overall damage of it's increased by 50%, so it's better as a spammable. Off by 100%. Reduce the bonus count. Okay. So the shield's stronger with... Okay. Okay. So you don't need a shit ton of targets for the shield to be good anymore. But it's still 40% stronger if you stack it up. Okay. So overall Brawler, it's going to be more reliable in terms of keeping you alive, and it's going to do more damage on the spammable. That's cool. Or you can take the Carve Morph, which is just bleed. Just bleed. Dude, fuck bleeds. Two-handed users choose between defenses or damage. Yep. We're using that double down in their focus of choice. Now you can choose between a powerful tool that help you stick close to dangerous opponents or increase pressure to keep up your damage potential. Okay, that makes sense. Are we ever going to address bleeds, Zos? Are we ever going to address bleeds? Jesus fucking Christ. Zos, can we please address bleeds? It's glorified Oblivion damage. It's Oblivion damage that you can actually ramp up. The one thing that gives Oblivion damage the pass is the fact that you can't increase the damage. Oblivion damage is Oblivion damage. It's exactly the same amount of damage. Bleeds, you can ramp it up, but it still can't be mitigated. Like, bleeds need to be addressed, Zos. Bleeds need to be addressed. Giving us another really powerful bleed. It's not good. Alright. I'm off to make up for the removal of the post-global noted above. Oh, so they fixed the thing where you couldn't cast after it. Okay. Okay. So you can cast it. So uppercut can be cast quicker now. Because it doesn't have that follow-up time. Because if you don't know, there's a weird follow-up time with casting abilities. So thank God they fixed that. So uppercut might be a little more viable to use now. Cool. It's still a fucking annoying stun, but alright. If you're using it as a stun. If you're using it as a... If you're a Wrecking Blow spammer, you're golden. Tipping use one-handed shield weapons, okay. So overall, two-hander, yeah, I'm not happy with the bleed. Overall, this is making two-hand AoE damage more viable. More viable. Oh, I forgot to do my sum up for Warden. Overall, Warden, they added some counterplay to the burst damage from this. They're getting more mobility. I don't feel like that. Like, I mean, yeah, okay, more mobility. That's cool. More mobility. Corrupting Pollen got a nerf, so they're no longer the god tier example of Major Defile. That's nice. Some of the heals are a bit more viable. Crystallized Shield's going to be probably a bit more expensive to use, I suspect. It's going to be hard. There's some math behind there. And Mag Wardens in PvE are going to get more damage out of their damage morphs. overall, pretty decent changes for Warden. Decent changes for Warden. They got that, yeah. Pretty happy with the changes for Warden overall. Overall, pretty good. Pretty good for Warden. Dual Weld. Could fail to get damage or any other bonuses provided. Now you get the pulsing damage and any other bonus, even if the major evasion fails to apply during having a longer duration bonus existing. I did not know that happened. I don't think I've ever used it with another source of evasion. That's interesting. Okay, the bow dot and direct damage. Didn't know that was happening. I should have tested that. Oh boy, that would have been awesome. Okay. Probably gets 50% damage compared to the other morph. Okay, slight damage to Deadly Cloak. Generally speaking, I mean, Quick Cloak is generally better for PvE. PvP, sorry. You pretty much always use Quick Cloak for PvP, because generally you use Quick Cloak if you're running heavy armor and you need a source of evasion. You usually run Dual Weld with Quick Cloak, and that's your expedition source and your source of evasion. It's typically how I do it, at least. Deadly Cloak, I mean, PvE, I guess slight buff about there. Damage up in this ability more by 20%, sure it is in line with other single target spammable abilities. So they buffed Flurry because Flurry was kind of garbage. Okay. It'd be interesting to see if this brings back the Maelstrom daggers. From what I recall, it was still very expensive, which caused problems. But I don't know. We'll see what that does. 21%'s a lot. 21%'s a lot. We'll have to. That will require testing. Remove the snare from this ability and it's morphed. Yes! One of the pointless snares has been removed. One of the pointless snares in this game have been removed. There are snares in this game that make sense and have a reason to be there. This was not one of them. There's no reason why this ability has to have a snare on it. Thank fuck. Oh, wait, I see this. Did they get rid of the snare? 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 Of course they didn't. This is by far the least nonsensical one to have a snare on it. But anyway. Damage dealt from this morph by 10%. Okay, so Flying Blade got a buff. Alright. I'm okay with that, honestly. Flying Blade was always iffy in terms of whether or not it was worth it. So, a bit of a buff to Flying Blade. That's cool. Twin Slashes. Okay, here we go. 10 seconds. Increase the delay. Okay. So, Rending Slash is not viable to spammable anymore. Alright. It's nice. It's nice. You still use it because it's got a fucking snare on it for no fucking reason. There's no reason it should have a fucking snare on it. Let's burst damage. Okay, yeah. Increase the heal per tick by a bunch. Cool. So Blood Craze is looking a little more viable for a heal, especially for PvE. Okay. And this, so you can't use Rending Slash as spammable now. Still needs to have its snare removed, Zos. There's nothing about this skill that requires it to have a snare on it. And its bleed damage, which as you keep fucking telling us, is designed specifically to counter high armor tanky block builds. Generally speaking, high armor tanky block builds aren't fast moving, so why the fuck is there a snare on the ability designed to counter them? Makes no fucking sense. Jesus Christ. Get rid of the snare on this ability. It shouldn't be on here. End of story. End of story. There shouldn't be a snare on here. Like I said, the entire snare system just needs to be remade. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Alright, here we go. Increased the base damage ability in its morphs by 50%, but removed the execute bonus. Okay. So wait, the execute bonus was in the passives though. Hold up a second. Wasn't it? Hold up a second here. Hold up. Yeah, Whirling. Yeah, these both get the. Oh no, it does. Oh. Dude, all these years, I thought Steel Tornado was the morph that got the... I'll be honest, guys. This entire time, I thought Steel Tornado was the morph you had to specifically pick to get the bonus execute damage. That was because there was literally no reason to use anything other than Steel Tornado. I'll be honest. That's 100% what it was. I thought the bonus of Steel Tornado was that was where you got the execute damage. Okay. I never knew that. There was literally no reason to use either of these skills. It was just Steel Tornado. The more you know, kids. Alright, but yeah, so remove the execute bonus, but it does more instant direct hit damage. Cool. Reduce the base cost a little bit. Increase the radius ability and the Whirling Death morph to 6 meters. And then Steel Tornado gets the execute bonus, but the cost is cheaper. And Whirling Blades remove the reduced cost and major endurance on hit and increase reintroduce the execute bonus to the morph. Okay. So you can take the cheaper, larger AoE, or you can take the smaller one that has the execute. Interesting. overloaded with their execute multiplier while stacked on top of it. This passive execute multiplier with skill and now brought the baseline performance of this building into the same realm of our other direct damage of area effect abilities and damage cost and area coverage. This morph now allows for increased area coverage and reduced strain or increased overall damage to targets. Okay, so spin to win's finally getting some changes. Okay. So let's look at this. These are big changes here. Because first of all, this morph has been useless since launch. And Steel Tornado has taken over as pretty much the main skill in Cyrodiil. So to break it down, the reason Steel Tornado is so strong is it's an undodgeable, unavoidable AoE execute. So it's like, there are other executes that can do more damage, but Steel Tornado is so strong because you can't avoid it. Because generally speaking, a lot of players, when they get into execute range, they just start dodge rolling. So it's like if you use an Executioner, for example, they're going to dodge roll. If you're using Killer's Blade on a Nightblade, they're going to be dodge rolling. They're going to dodge roll that attack. Steel Tornado, you've got a big-ass radius on an AoE fucking hit that does not as much execute damage, but still a good amount. So all you do is just chase them around and just spin to win. Easy for executes. Easy for executes. Made it so strong it's spammable. So that was the big reason. That's the big reason Steel Tornado is so fucking prevalent, even when you're not on an AoE build. That's the reason it was so prevalent. So now it's like... So Steel Tornado is ultimately going to come down to this is your AoE skill. This is the AoE skill. It's not going to... You can't... It's not... It's 20, the 20% execute damage... it's not really going to be great as an execute anymore. Like this morph, it's not going to be for executing. It's going to have a big-ass fucking radius, a cheap cost, and a lot of damage because they increase the base cost, or the base damage. It's going to be really strong. Really, really strong as an AoE ability for hitting AoE targets. Will definitely be used as your AoE attack. This one, you don't get major endurance, but you get the execute bonus. So, this one will be the execute, but... So it's 6 meters. Right now it is... Steel Tornado has... What is it? 9 meters? So it's 3 meters short range. So 6 meters is a very, very short radius. 6 meters is a very short radius. But you get the execute damage back. The undodgeable, unavoidable AoE execute damage. And actually, but it still gets the base damage increase. It's still got it's got a 50% base damage increase. So that means the execute on this is going to be brutal. It's going to be even more powerful than Steel Tornado right now. Because it's got 50% reduction or 50% bonus and then... that. But then the catch here is it's got a very tight 6 meter range. 6 meters is very, very short. That's very short range. That's the base range if you didn't know. That's a really, really tight, well, it's one higher than the current base range. So it's going to be very tight. I feel like any class that doesn't have a built-in execute will still probably use this one. I feel like it's still going to be very tempting for any class that, that still wants to rely on the fact that it's undodgeable and unavoidable. It will be a lot easier to counter it now because 6 meters is a very, very tight radius comparative to 9 meters. If you don't, that's literally a 50% decrease. Wait, no, not 50%. Math is hard. 33% decrease. 33%, 33%. I'm good at maths. So yeah, that's interesting. So you can take the AoE damage, or you can use it as an execute. That's your choices. That's cool. Okay. I feel like this, honestly, with the 50% base damage, is going to do so much fucking damage. It's going to do so much damage, dude. It's going to do so much damage. I don't know. I feel like they might have to reduce the damage or something on that a bit, because I feel like that's going to be just lethal. Because it's going to be harder to land, but it's going to be lethal if you do. So that's an interesting change. Interesting changes there. Overall, this still needs its fucking snare removed. Otherwise, yeah, it's nice. Not a spammable anymore. I'm interested to see how this works. Flying Blade's going to be a bit more prevalent, I feel like. Blade Cloak, what did it change here again? Yeah, Blade Cloak, not really that different. So it's gonna be interesting. I'm very curious to see how this will work out. This will require some testing. I feel like that's probably a good change, especially since the other morph is now useful again. All right, remove the snare from this ability. Thank God. Anything that removes snares, I'm all about it. I'm all about removing snares. You still haven't removed it from the most egregiously broken one. Seriously, like, this is annoying, and this one's pretty bad too, but this one is still pretty much like 80% of the snares you got applied to is this fucking skill right here. Jesus Christ. But anyway. Okay. Add a 1 second delay between initial tick and the first tick. Now it takes last 4 seconds in total. Or change the snare and the immobilize ensures that both apply to the enemy rather than snaring enemies are affected by the immobilize. Okay. So never mind. So now this is just bombard so now you can't use acids. You can't do damage and snare. Now you gotta pick this. It'll do less damage, but it will snare and immobilize. Or you can pick acid spray for the damage. Okay. Reduce cost and increase damage. So this might be more viable for bow builds as an AoE. PvE wise, this will be pretty good. PvE wise, this will be very good for bow builds. It's a lot more damage for them. The fact that they put this back on there is increase the duration of the mobilize. Cool, probably. So in other words, it hasn't really fixed the problem with this build, this shit being annoying. Honestly, but I mean, it's better. It's better. Like, they can't get damage out of it now. So, I mean, I'll take what I can get. Fix the cast time on snipe. Alright. Reduce the damage dealt by 25%. Make up for the removal of the post-global node early. Okay. So it'll do a little less damage, but it can be fired faster, basically. Increase the travel speed. No. 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 Now it's harder to deal with it. Because previously when you heard that plink, you could dodge roll. And you had enough time. Probably won't have that anymore. Okay. Plays minor file rather than major file. Done since the morph already has known once. The guaranteed chance to apply the poison status effect. Okay. That's nice. Now they can't apply major defile with that. Anyway, so yeah, less defile from lethal arrow, it's less broken. Pretty much. Anyway, focus aim, in which you allies can hit the target instead, it reduces the cost by 5%, increases the range by 5 meters. So it's like, that's the longer range morph, or you can take this one, which is the poison status effect and the minor defile. Okay. I mean, I don't like the travel speed upgrade, makes it a little harder to counter. Overall, it can be fired quicker, but it does less damage. I mean, I just hope they fix the desync, honestly. It's still gonna be annoying. It'll be a bit less annoying though. Pretty much what it comes down to. Reduce potency of this ability and it's more, it's 40%. It should be 30, first of all. It should be 30, first of all. It should never have been 60. 60 was broken. 60 was outright broken. It should still be lower than 40. The size of this ability and the fact that it's specifically a damage ability, it's literally the damage ability in the game. AoE ground-based damage over time ability. It should not have a powerful snare on it. Caltrops, for reference, has a 30% snare, and it's like a third of the size. And it has a travel time to land, and it costs quite a bit. Wall of Frost is cheap, is designed to do damage, it's a massive radius, and it's instant cast. So you can literally just go around just slamming this on the ground, chasing people around, and just constantly keep them in the snare, and there's no counter to it other than having snare immunity. Whereas with Caltrops, you got to throw it. It takes a while to actually go and land. So it's actually, you have to actually use it preemptively to deny an area. This ability can just be spammed to abuse the snares, and it's stupid. So it sure as hell shouldn't have a more powerful snare than the fucking ability that is designed to literally lock down an area. It's fucking, like, seriously. Snares in general. I don't want to spend too much time on it. Rework them all. They're fucking stupid. Lights Champion. No grants major protection. 1 second for each rank of the morph. Up to 8 seconds. Play the job of both morphs to the base melee panic KO 2 well, since it offers both offensive and defensive power. Can you give raw defensive power and more healing potential, while Lights Champion focuses more on offensive power with major force. It's a good change. It's a good change. Outright good change. It was literally, the major protection on this skill meant that, like, well, just like with Permafrost, when you got major protection on you, it's pretty much impossible to die if you've got enough healing on you. It's very difficult to die when you have major protection on you and you're a proper build that's healing and everything. Having that on a healing ult that already does a fuck ton of healing just meant, like, oh, he's cast Resto ult, wait until it's over. That's literally what it's like. You can't, there's no point attacking him when he's got Resto ult up. So now they're making it so Lights Champion is the offensive morph because it gives you a major force for long duration, or you can pick the other morph which gives you the shield, the major berserk from combat prayer, the hot from rapid regen, and what's the last one? Oh, the last one's springs. It obviously doesn't cast springs on you because that would be stupid. No, yeah. So yeah, now you got defensive and offensive. That's cool. I like that. I like that. It's a good change. Good change. It definitely, Resto Well definitely needed a nerf. It was way too potent. While unarmed will not cause your pet to change targets. Wow, that is the definition of a niche issue, guys. If you want to look at probably what is the most niche issue in this game, it is the fact that unarmed heavy attack pet talk builds were really struggling to get their pets to target the right thing. You cannot get a more niche issue than that. It cannot be done. I don't care how hard you try. You will never find a more niche problem to solve. Anyway. Okay, Shadow Soul. Multiplying intensive base handling is hit with it. Okay. Interesting. Devour. Corpses in the area will now detonate a red glow symbol with other corpse consuming telegraphs. Okay, cool. So it's easy to find them. Cool. Your friends to... Since you are a selfish doggo? Wow. Dude, you can tell Gina wrote this patch. I love Gina. Gina. I want Gina to write every patch. I want Gina to write every forum post. Since you are a selfish dog. That's pretty funny. You can now devour your friends. Not showing the interruptible telegraph to enemy players. Okay. So just generally made the werewolf devour a bit more functional. Okay. Damage of the initial hitter's ability is multiplied by approximately 36%. Zos, I've got to ask you a question. Zos. Who the fuck there just wants werewolves to just be the most broken thing ever? Who there loves werewolves so much they just want the entire game to be replaced with Elder Werewolves Online? Because seriously, they don't need a fucking buff. They don't need a buff. Actually, I should read further. I'm seeing decreased and stuff here, so... Maybe they did nerf it. Because I was going to say increased initial hit is like 36%. Okay. The werewolf bleed. Decreased to 4 seconds. Okay, so now it doesn't last for an egregious amount of time. 1 second delay between the initial hit and the first tick. Okay, so you can't spam it? So... Okay. Got you. Right. Okay. I've got it now. I've figured it out. Light attack, apply the bleed. Alright, cool. No, yeah, I see. Alright. Interesting. Okay, so overall... I mean, it just means that if they get away, the bleed will last. It doesn't last as long. And then you got to pick. So the pack leader more if the bleeds kind of suck, but the bleed from the Berserker one's going to be really powerful. Alright. I gotcha. Okay. It's coming back to me. Okay. I know how werewolf works now. It took me a minute. I was so confused. Alright. Increase the delay of the damage jump type to 2 seconds from 1 second is now 6 seconds rather than 5 seconds. Interesting. So the damage over time attack takes 2 seconds to land. So Dawnbreaker is a little less bursty. That's actually surprisingly a noticeable nerf. Resulting in an initial damage increased and 9% damage over time portion increase. Okay, so Dawnbreaker smiting is harder hitting and then slightly higher damage over time, but overall, you get the 1 extra second after it lands before the dot goes off. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, Dawnbreaker is laughably potent right now. It's not the biggest nerf in the world. Does mean it's a little less bursty, though. Okay. Honestly, overall, I think it might help the stand meta a little bit. Because stand meta is really out of control. And Dawnbreaker is pretty much the go-to ultimate. Interesting. Increased responsiveness, the pull speed from this ability to reduce situations where players still succeed. Okay, yeah, so they fixed the CC stuff with pulling. Okay, because they did that with chains as well. Initial disability more can be dodged. Cool, because that was dumb. I've seen that happen before. Fixed initial with this ability would only fear werewolves if you had the passive skilled tracker enabled. That's weird. Okay, again, niche issue. Alright. Increase the duration of the major expedition from the ability more to 4 seconds from 3. Now that's 12 seconds rather than 9. Okay. Thus, we're going to sit down and have a talk here. No longer reduces the cost of sprinting by 50%. Grants immunity to snares and mobilizations. Zos, I do not want a snare system where it's literally the only purpose of the snare system is to make us cast one of a handful of abilities every 4 seconds. That's just stupid. It's just stupid. Because that's where you're pushing us right now. Yay, we've got another option for snare and mobilization removal. Cool, that's nicer for mag builds. It's great. It still doesn't change the fact that you're just forcing us to cast one of these stupid abilities every few seconds if we want to be able to move. That's just dumb. That's not good design. Like, what is the purpose of the snare system? The entire purpose of the snare system with this way you're pushing it is that it exists to make you use this ability. That's it. That's literally ultimately what the snare system has boiled down to. Is the entire fundamental use, purpose, and contribution of the snare system is to make you run one of these 4 abilities and cast it every 4 seconds. Why? Why? Why do you want that? What? Like, can't you make it do something good? Like, can't you make... Like, there's plenty of things you can make a snare system. You can make a snare system designed as something you use specifically to counter high mobility builds. Like, that guy's really fast. We gotta figure out how to get a snare on him so we can actually hit him. That's a use for a snare system. Do we want snares to be used tactically and efficiently under specific situations? Like I explained earlier with biting jabs, because it's a channeled ability where you walk really slow, so they put a snare on it so the target can't just walk away or sprint away from you. Because the person casting the skills fundamentally has to move slower because it's a channeled ability. Do we put a snare on that system to make it make sense? Do we put the passive snares on the DK and the Templar? They are there because they are the only 2 classes that basically have nothing for mobility in their kit. They got... What do DKs have? They got chains and a really inconsistent offensive gap closer. That's the only thing that gives them anything for mobility. Pretty much, it's useless defensively and problematic offensively. Templars, what do they got? You got hasty prayer, guys. The sassy shoulder clap that costs like 5,000 magicka and is the AoE burst heal. That'll give you 10% movement speed. It's like they have nothing for movement, so they get a passive snare to make up for it. Because they are fundamentally slower, so instead of making them move faster, they get a passive snare that makes other targets they're attacking move slower. These are logical uses for a snare system. They use snare essentially as it's the opposite of mobility. Things that move slower or force you to move slower, force the target you're attacking to move slower to make up for it. That is how it works. Like, that is a logical use for snares. Again, look at shit like rending slashes. There's no reason there should be a snare on that system. What else could you do with a snare system? You could also make it like, is it used tactically and efficiently to, deny an area because they move slower pushing through it. Like, you caltrops the door when they're pushing through. Does it work like that? No, everyone just runs around spamming fucking Elemental Blockade and everyone for the reasons I mentioned earlier, that it's instant cast, it's a massive AoE, and it's a 60% snare, or now 40%, sorry. It's like, there are so many things you could do with a snare system to actually make it have a functional and logical purpose within the game, to actually contribute something to the experience. But right now, all it does is just forces everyone to run one of these handful of skills. That's it. You can't use it tactically because you've got snares on you all the fucking time. The few situations before I mentioned with biting jabs, where it's like, it actually makes sense to have a snare on it, it doesn't work because everyone has to run one of these abilities. You can't use it to counter high mobility builds because all the high mobility builds know they have to run one of these skills to avoid being slowed down. It's like, you just put Cyrodiil in a state where it's like, you run this skill, you run one of these skills, and you can move, or you don't run one of these skills, and you can't. That is the long, short, nutshell interpretation of what the snare system adds to the game. Is that really what you want? Is that what you want? Is you just want everyone to have to run one of these handful of skills to be able to move at all? It's stupid. It's just dumb. It's just a meaningless system. Like, it needs... This is what I mean. You need to just figure out what the fuck you want the system to actually do and just build around that. Because I'm sick of this shit. It's just dumb. It's like, cool, okay, cool. Now we can all move because we have this. But then what's the point in the snare system being the system in the first... Like, cool, yeah, we all have access to it now. Yeah, we all have access to immunity. What the fuck's the point in having the snare system in the first place then? If we're just all gonna be forced to be immune the entire time. Zos, seriously, come on. You're better than this. Come up with an actual idea and a purpose for this shit. Instead of just... Okay, moving on. 12 seconds from channel acceleration. That's kind of nice. Felt a little short for how long the channel was. Elemental weapon. There wasn't an equal chance to apply each status effect. I have noticed that. I felt like it was applying burning more often than any other one, but anyway. Mend wounds. Not trigger the global cooldown and can be weaved with other abilities. Ah. That's actually really good. Because that was the big reason no one fucking used it. Because you still couldn't weave it with other skills. Because it counted as a skill. Because it counted as a skill use. Because it was a light attack, but it counted as a skill use. So you couldn't weave it with, like, you couldn't like weave your mend wounds light healing attacks in between, you know, healing springs. That was the reason it was ultimately not really viable. So it's like interesting. Wait, hold the... No longer cost resources to light or heavy attack with this ability toggled. What? Excuse me, what? Light attack now heals instantly for the same amount that the light attack would damage an enemy. And heals every second and reduces the sum scaling of other weapons' heavy attacks. Every time it successfully heals an ally. Major Warden resolve to the target heal for 5 seconds. Attempted to offer healers a new way to engage with their light and heavy attacks, but it came at the cost of activating other abilities at the same frequency as normal weapons allowed them. With this new interaction, light heals choose between dealing damage or healing allies with light and heavy attacks, or even a mix of both. I see more or less of this unique role-based gameplay elements in the future. That is fucking enormous. So now it's literally just like, it's a toggle where it's, I think you still have to double bar it, but it's literally like, you can do damage with light and heavy attacks, or you can heal allies. Because you can still get your magicka back from your heavy attacks. I'm curious if it still builds ult with the light attacks. Because that's the only thing that could be a problem. If you can't build ult from the light attacks, that's going to be the catch. But otherwise, it doesn't cost abilities, doesn't trigger global cooldown, so you're literally just weaving it in between. That's a massive buff to healing. That is a massive buff to healing. Like, massive. Because this actually does quite a bit of healing. Like, this isn't some... It was actually pretty potent in terms of a heal. What is it? Probably... Don't want that one. This is probably one you want. Heals for 10,000 over 10 seconds. So it's like a 1k hot. That's with like, this is all with like 0 scaling stats on though. So at base level, it's a 1k hot. Heavy attacks channel for 4373. Like that's a lot of extra healing there. You can't heal yourself with it. You can only heal allies, obviously. Unless you pick the symbiosis morph, in which case you only get a percentage, but still. That's crazy. That's really big. That is a really big change. I'm pretty sure you have to double bar this, although honestly it might just end up being you just front bar it, and then you back bar it, and then you do like a light attack to get your resources back when you're doing your back bar rotations and recast it. But then you cast the global cooldown. I don't know how it would work out. Either way, that's big. That is really big. Actually, I think they might have changed it so you don't have to double. It used to be double barred. I think they might have updated it at some point so you don't have to double bar it anymore. Because no one used it at first because you had to double... I don't know. We'd have to double check. But still, I got to test that because that is seriously potent. That is seriously potent. Especially in PvE. Especially in PvE. That is so much more healing you can put out now. Crazy. Alright. So the initial hit deals as much damage as the instant cast AoE spammable ability. Okay. So it's still not going to use it as a spammable, but I guess it's more damage. I guess you might be able to use it as spammable for ranged bow builds, but anyway. Yep, so the standard thing with that. Increase duration to 15 seconds from 14. Still useless. Still useless. No longer stares enemies hit upon the initial hit. Cool. It's still less powerful than Frost Blockade. So it's less powerful than Frost Blockade, takes time to land, and is a smaller AoE. Cool. So in other words, it's still useless for its intended purpose. Cool. Either way, I mean, overall, it's nice that the 70% snare's gone. That was really fucking dumb. Increased damage on the initial hit makes it nicer for PvE. That's pretty much all that. That's pretty much the only takeaway here. Support. Transfer damage can no longer be mitigated a second time. Okay. So they can't do the... So yeah, because previously it was like, it mitigates the damage on the target you're guarding, and then you get the damage mitigated based on your physical and spell resistances. So now it's only once. So guard is less potent. Correctly attributed to the attacker, no longer attributed to the initial target. Yep, cool. Reduce the initial target's damage bonus. I didn't know that was happening. That's actually crazy. Transfer damage will now retain the same damage type of the initial attack. The blooming damage still cannot be transferred. Oh, okay. So overall, guards a little less guards more consistent in terms of how it works, and it's you won't be able to, and you will take more damage if you're guarding a target, basically. Because it was like, it wasn't just straight up transferring damage, it was also double mitigating it. So that's part of the reason it was so hard to kill people that were guarding each other. Because it was essentially double mitigating the damage back and forth. So that's cool. 35% to 55%, a better balance between healing bonuses and reductions within the CP system. Interesting. So this was interesting, because this was the only one that scaled differently. It was the reason I got the, because I got my, I made a build vault that had all this stuff in it. I probably shouldn't pull this up. It's, you know, let's not pull this up. But anyway, I had a, where I calculated all this stuff. This is the only tree that goes up to 55. Everything else is a 15, 25, 35 jump point system. This one was the only one that went up to 55%. So it's interesting. I hope overall this, I'm not gonna comment too much on CP system changes, because I'm still hoping there's gonna be more changes overall to the CP system. I mean, this is kind of, sure, like this isn't the biggest deal. Most of the time you use Befouled, it's like when you're on my healer, when you're running Corrupting Pollen and the Vulcan. Just stack that up a bit and you can be really toxic. So, sure, okay. Decrease health, Oblivion damage, decrease the damage of the gem by 33%. Cool. Where's the bleed reduction? Please. Oblivion damage is bad, guys. It's bad. It's really bad. Bleeds are worse. Bleeds are worse than Oblivion damage, guys. Hot take. Hot take. Bleed damage is worse. Because this is static damage. Bleed damage can be amped up. That's the problem with bleed damage. Overall, I'm happy with anything that reduces Oblivion damage. And other forms of mitigation, such as resistance to block, fast, strong, and standard elemental damage procs. Better increase the interaction of Oblivion damage and the in-game on-player abilities. Introducing a scaling mechanism so these enchants may be better suited to taking down high health targets to meet their intended goal. Thank Christ. So they are looking at logical steps to improve how Oblivion damage functions. I'm okay with it. Thank God. Reworking how Oblivion damage works is very important, and I'm very glad they're doing it, because if they make it a percentage-based scaling, right now it's sort of a numbers game. If you can just get enough Oblivion damage to hit a target, they will die. Luckily, we didn't actually see it too much, but you could literally get 4 people in Slodes and Night Slayer with Oblivion damage, infused Oblivion damage in chat. Actually, no, they don't do Slodes, they do Taurogs. Night Slayer, and then they all just charge up a heavy attack and shoot it off at the same time. You could literally do you could literally do 30k of unmitigatable Oblivion damage and insta-kill a target. 0 counterplay. Because it's just a numbers game. Because there's nothing you can do to reduce or increase the damage. All you have to do is have enough people to make sure you apply enough Oblivion damage to kill a target. There was only a few of those gank squads I saw when they were around, but it was like I'm glad they're changing this system. It's good. Work on bleeds next, please. Okay. Reduce the max health and max resource granted by these drinks by approximately 12%. Granted by these foods by approximately 15%. I've heard about this. This is interesting. A bit too dense. Stat dense in areas that certain builds need to focus on, which granted reduce consumable options when comparing effectiveness. Yes. Okay. So these do provide dramatically higher stats than all the other options. Functionally speaking, I think gold should. Gold is expensive and hard to get. I think it should technically be a bit more impressive. But, I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. I feel like that's probably going to hit PvE harder, because specifically the max health change might be a little annoying. Might struggle to get max health again for PvE builds. PvP, I don't think it's the biggest deal in the world. I mean, it's less stats, less health, you know. It's annoying, but realistically, PvP as we're used to adapting, we'll adapt. It's not the end of the world. It's annoying, but like I said, we'll adapt. We'll find our way. That's something we can easily adapt to. Weapon damage and chance that dealt damage could be dodged when proximate damage source that couldn't be dodged. Interesting. Notion the enchantment is part of the weapon itself. Dodge an attack that when trigger an enchantment, you will dodge the attack and the enchantment together. While being hit with an attack that cannot be dodged, both the attack and successfully hit you. Okay. So it's if you get hit by one, you get hit by both. If you dodge one, you dodge both. End of story. Cool. They did a couple of those changes too. I like that. All right. Overall, most of the changes are pretty good for the most part. I still hate what they're doing with the snare system. Such as rapid strikes. Okay. Second increase duration to 6 seconds from 5 seconds. Okay. I mean, overall, it's honestly doesn't matter that much with Yukita. 6 seconds is actually nice. So it'll take a little longer to get the stacks, but you hold them for 1 second longer. That's actually kind of a buff. That's really nice because even just 1 extra second on your back bar makes it a lot easier to not lose the stacks on your back bar. So that could actually be really nice. Fuck Clearance Legacy, yeah, whatever. When proc off, healing of Meditate is morphed. Yep, okay. Earthgore now dispels all negative effects rather than 1. Granted from the set now only heals the target with the lowest health in the area rather than 6 lowest health in the area. So Earthgore got a massive nerf. Massive nerf. Massive. It's not quite deleted. It's basically pushed Earthgore into it dispels all negative effects in the area. So it's like it's pretty much pushed it into specifically countering like ulti bombs and negate bombs and shit. It's pushed it specifically into that role. It's not going to keep many people alive anymore. Like having a shit ton of Earthgores in your group, it doesn't matter. That's not gonna just save your entire group like it does right now. Thank Buck. But it's still gonna be advantageous to have 1, maybe 2 people in your group that have this, because you can still use it to counter like ulti bombs and stuff. Because you can dispel if they drop a negate and all the ults and shit on you, you can negate all the ground effects in 1 move. Especially next patch with the Flesh Atro. I'm curious if it will actually disable the Flesh Atro. Because that is technically a ground-based AoE effect. I'm curious if it will dispel the Atro. If so, again, that will be really strong again. It'll be really fucking strong. Either way, it's not good. Oh no, not my Daedric Trickery Oblivion's foe. More of the Infernal build, please tell me. Oh, okay, no, it's okay. That build will still live on. That build will still live on. Thank God. Oh, I was worried there for a second. My favorite build. I've been sprinting a roll doing what was proccing. Dude, fucking. The Essence Pool. Essence Thief is and always will be a meme. I mean, like, they did the other change earlier. We'll see if it's actually good now. But it's still pretty much a meme. It still harkens back to the days when it's first released where you're chasing balls to the other side of the room. That's all Essence Thief will ever be to me. And the perk of single target damage on an engine. Okay. Some specific direct. Okay. Okay. Some direct damage attacks. Yeah, I did notice it was a bit iffy on proccing on some things. Like, I felt there was a few setups where I noticed it wasn't proccing as much as it could have. That was a while back, though. I haven't used it lately. Single cast of Caltrops. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that happened. Robes of the Hist. Item set was able to critically strike. Which one's Robes of the Hist again? Which one was this again? I don't remember this set off the top of my head. Oh, right. No, yeah, this one's... I've seen this one used on a few things. Okay. Yeah, okay. It was actually really powerful. It was really powerful. Pro tip, if you ran Ranger's Gate, if you just ran a Warden and a Red Guard and you ran this and you just deal with the snares, this was actually really strong. 2,500 health every 1 second. 1,250 healing a second. It was really strong. Actually, no, this was... No, I'm thinking of a different build. No, never mind. No, I'm thinking of a different set. Sorry, never mind. I was thinking of a different set. I was thinking of, Barkskin. Never mind. Able to critically strike? That's interesting. Okay, whatever. Anyway. I'm gonna cut that. Dive attack with the shield down because the all time effects double down. Okay, cool, whatever. Reverted the cooldown to 5 seconds rather than 4 seconds. Okay. Pull targets between 8 and 22 rather than 5 and 28. Little nerf to Swarm Mother. Okay. Help for instance you can pull targets who are already in melee range. Okay. Okay. I guess it's a bit of a buff actually. Could proc this set. Oh, I never thought about that. Very niche problem. Alright. Oh, now play a ring attack when it's coming to improve the clarity of the threat. That's interesting. That's nice. It's still... most people can still hear it. You can hear it coming. It's got a pretty loud sound cue. But still, that's nice. Alright. Alright. Up to the visuals, guides, and generals reach lines more clearly enforce the... Wow. Alright. That's very useful, guys. Oh boy, we've upped the saturation. We've upped the saturation on the tabards, guys. We've got to improve the faction loyalty with the faction locks. We got to make sure everyone's showing their faction pride. Everybody. Oh, we got to head to faction pride. This is the faction pride thing. Nah, whatever. Kill 20 necromancers. Boy, who'd have seen that one coming? Alright. Nothing's bash, pow bash. Entering Cyrodiil. Can no longer be destroyed. Oh, interesting. Towers can no longer be destroyed. Overall game performance stability in Cyrodiil. I guess since they're making it a fixed model, it's probably... Because this is interesting. This was pretty niche. This didn't happen very often. I mean, that can be annoying when you've got a ball group in there. Kind of sad. Destroying towers was fun. It didn't happen often, so I see why they made this change. It didn't happen very often, but it was kind of fun destroying towers. But anyway. And prior update adjustments. Well, okay, they didn't buff it in no CP, which is nice. Dude, well, okay, so first of all, this is the first time they're actually adjusting something specifically in CP, but not in no CP. We need more of that, Zos. You don't seem to understand that no CP and CP functionally work different in a lot of ways. That's not an argument I'm going to get into now, but still. Overall, Siege did not need an adjustment, guys. Siege is the literal removal of skill. Okay? Doesn't need to hit harder. Siege is already in a place where if you use it effectively with actual... Like, it makes a difference in a fight, but it's not the difference. Siege didn't really need a buff. People who wanted the buff are people that don't want to actually be good and actually play, and they just want to sit on a tower and left click and actually kill things. That's not constructive gameplay. It's not constructive gameplay, guys. And also, you're talking about Zerg mechanics. The stronger you make Siege, the more Zerging is going to be required to get anything done. If you didn't know, that's just 101. If the Siege is really powerful, a small group can't take anything. Like a small group will be unable to take anything if the Siege is ridiculously powerful. I don't want to get in a whole argument with the problem in Cyrodiils right now, but still, like this is not helping. This is just enabling pokes to do more damage and encouraging Zerging more, because it's going to be the more damage you make Siege do, the harder it is to take keeps and actually get things done without having significantly higher numbers. But anyway. All right, so I mean overall, a lot of good changes for the most part. There wasn't too many nerfs. Most of the instances where there was nerfs, they gave them something in return. Like Nightblades, they lost some stuff, but they also gained stuff in return. Like, I feel like overall, Standborns are going to be a little less potent. Mag Decays are going to come back in a big way. Stand Decay's got a bit of a buff. Templars and Magplars got a bit of a buff in PvP. Mag Sorks in PvE are getting a good buff. Mag Sorks in PvP, we'll see. They might have small shields. Their Sork's gonna be, their pets are gonna be a little more overpowered. So I think Mag Sork might be taking a bit of a hit. PvP. Stam Sorks, they got that cool. They got this damage from Streak now is now physical. That's cool. Oh, sorry, it scales off the other stats, which is cool. What else was there? Nightblade. They got to work a bit more. They can't be straight ganky. They got to be a bit more. They got to put a bit more effort into getting their hits. That's nice. What else was there? I mean, yeah, that's pretty nice. Nothing about Necro in here in the patch notes. That's interesting. The Necro abilities aren't in here. Were they? Elsweyr Chapter? Hang on, is there? They didn't provide anything in the patch notes. That's interesting. I guess we just got to open up the thing. Either way. So yeah, overall, pretty good changes for the most part. Few iffy ones. The snare movement system in the game still needs a complete rework. The changes they're doing are shitty band-aid fixes, and it's just not a productive system. Something needs to be done about that. I mean, yeah, overall, pretty decent patch notes, I think. Pretty decent patch notes. Overall. There's definitely some iffy things in there, but overall, pretty good. Pretty good. I'm pretty happy about that. So yeah, I will likely be doing some stuff in the PTS soon, testing out Necromancer and that. I don't know if I probably will be streaming it. I think tomorrow I might be streaming. Actually, I don't know when this will come out. Either way, I'll be streaming soon. I will be streaming. I'll be doing some PTS stuff, looking at some things. I got to do with some other stuff to prep for the Necromancer. But either way, you know, you can follow me on Twitch, YouTube, all that stuff. I don't YouTube much often, honestly. It's mostly just Twitch VODs. But you can feel free to sub. I do have it turned on that it does not send you notifications for Twitch VOD exports. So you'll only get notifications if I make an actual video. So, you know, feel free to sub. Either way, mostly on Twitch. Twitch.tv/saltypirate if you want to follow me there, guys. But yeah, that's about it. There's not much else to talk about, really. I feel like I covered pretty much everything in the patch notes. We'll see how it works out. There's a lot of testing to be done in the PTS. I'll be doing some of that. Definitely be doing some of that testing. So, yeah. Thanks for stopping by, guys. I'll see you later. Enjoy the patch notes. Bye-bye.